Chapter 367. Please take care. I won't be seeing you out, too. It's so cold here. Even with Empty's mystic power protecting her, Long Ruashue still felt a bone-piercing chill. Don't be afraid. I'm here. Freak hugged Long Ruashue into his arms and comforted her. Lass, your strength is too low. I have to give you special training if there's a chance. Empty's deep blue eyes glanced at the two of them. Special training? Long Ruashue was a little speechless. This old fart actually wanted to give her special training. It seemed like this had always been her specialty. Yes, your strength is too low, Empty said very seriously with his arms crossed over his chest. My current strength is just enough for me to participate in the Mystic Association's competition, Long Ruashue explained lightly. She didn't think she needed special training, but she was very curious about how Empty would train her. With me around, you don't have to participate in the competition, Empty said confidently. No, I have to participate in the competition, Long Ruashue said resolutely. Why? Lass, the president of the Mystic Association headquarters isn't as powerful as me. Empty reminded her. Of course it's for money. I'm poor. Long Ruashue said pragmatically. Just for this reason? Empty didn't know what to say. For thousands of years, he had never seen any mystic who wanted to participate in the competition for this reason. Why else? Long Ruashue asked in return. If it wasn't for money, I wouldn't care to participate in some lousy competition. In her opinion, the internal affairs of the Mystic Association were really too chaotic, and she couldn't be bothered to intervene in such a place. It should be for the sake of your future or status. No mystic would participate in the competition held by the association for money, Empty said helplessly and sighed lightly. Alas, this girl's way of thinking is really different. Those are other people. I'm doing it for money, Long Ruashue said proudly. Hee, my goal is so clear. Lass, are you really that short of money? Empty asked doubtfully. Of course. Also, can you not call me Lass? You might be an old fart, but you don't look much older than me. Calling me Lass makes me feel weird, Long Ruashue requested impatiently. Then what should I call you? Empty asked without blinking his clear blue eyes. You can call me Schwerer or Ruashue like Grandpa and the others, Long Ruashue said after some thought. Empty rested his chin on his hand in thought and then said, All right, I'll call you Schwerer from now on. Long Ruashue nodded. Schwerer, we're at the bottom of the stream, Freak reminded. Come with me. Empty retracted his mystic power upon reaching their destination. The two of them followed Empty and arrived at the entrance of a cave. This is it. Empty pointed at the cave, while producing various spells as he spoke. After a while, the door to the cave opened automatically. Long Ruashue and Freak walked into the cave with Empty. The interior of this cave was very spacious. Moreover, the stone walls of the cave were inlaid with blue water crystals that glittered with a gentle glow, making the water attribute spiritual energy in the cave very dense. After passing through a stone door, they finally arrived at an even larger stone room. In this stone room, there was only an incomparably huge cold jade bed. Lying on the bed was a giant beast. This beast was entirely ice blue, and his body was covered in thick scales. There was long fur between the scales, and he had a white jade-like horn on his head. He was very mighty and beautiful. But was this a Qilin? Master, that is an ice Qilin. Feng Zhan's voice sounded in Long Ruakshue's heart. Are you sure? How can there be a Qilin in this world? Long Ruakshue's face was full of question marks. Master, I suspect that he was exiled to this world like me, Feng Zhan guessed. Hearing this, Long Ruashue nodded slightly and then turned her gaze to Empty and asked, Is this your beast? Yes, but he's suffered very serious injuries. So he's been sleeping for thousands of years, Empty said sadly. Then how can we save him? Long Ruashue asked curiously. It's not easy to wake him up. I've collected a lot of herbs over the past thousands of years. Unfortunately, I can't find an alchemist who can refine the pill I need, Empty said helplessly. What pill do you need? Long Ruashue asked with interest. Could there be no such alchemist in the entire Alchemist Association? Ice Mystic Pill, Empty said softly. His deep blue eyes were even gentler as he stared at the ice Qilin lying on the cold jade bed. Uh. Long Ruashua looked at Empty, whose gaze seemed to be looking at his beloved, and her mind couldn't help but begin to wander. Could it be that between this master and beast? Seeing Lung Ruaksha's expression, Empty said with a face full of black lines, "Schwer, you're letting your imagination run wild again. It's not what you think." Oh. Lung Ruashua was embarrassed. Was the expression on my face really that obvious? Moreover, damn Freak actually dared to snicker. Schwer, why did you pinch me? Freak looked at Long Ruashua aggrievedly. Boo-hoo. What did it have to do with me? Why am I the one always being blamed? Who asked you to snicker? Lung Ruashua glared at him. I'm laughing because you look so cute. Freak explained. You can't laugh at me even if that's the case. Lung Ruashua looked at Freak domineeringly. Yes, my dear wife. Freak answered obediently. Lung Ruashua turned her head to Empty and asked, by the way, what level is the Ice Mystic Pill? The Ice Mystic Pill is a heaven-grade pill. But only alchemy supremacies with a divine flame can concoct it, Empty said helplessly. Alchemy supremacies were not difficult to find on the boundless heaven continent, but alchemy supremacies with a divine flame could only be chanced upon by luck. Divine flame? Huh? Lung Ruashua pondered. The level of her flame was definitely above divine flame, but she had yet to concoct a heaven-grade pill, nor had she gone to the Alchemist Association to test her alchemy level. So she wasn't sure if she could concoct the Ice Mystic Pill that Empty needed. Therefore, she was a little hesitant if she should tell Empty that she was also an alchemist. She was afraid that Empty would place all his hopes on her, but she wouldn't be able to help. Chapter 368. Please take care. I won't be seeing you out. 3. Actually, I'm an alchemist with a divine flame. Lung Ruashua hesitated, but still said it to Empty. Really? Empty looked at Long Ruashua with a face full of surprise. After searching for so long, I finally found one. This is great. But don't be too happy too early. I don't know if I can concoct the Ice Mystic Pill, Lung Ruashua said honestly. It's okay as long as there's hope. Can you let me see your natal flame? Empty said hopefully. He wanted to confirm it. Okay. Lung Ruashua stretched out a finger. A moment later, a small flame lit up on her fingertip. What a high temperature. Is this a divine flame? Confusion appeared on Empty's handsome face. A divine flame shouldn't be like this. But he was very sure that this girl's natal flame was definitely higher level than divine flame. With this thought, he couldn't help feeling happy. This is really great. Probably. Lung Ruashua wasn't too sure. Schwer, what level of pill can you concoct now? Empty asked anxiously. Earth grade is fine, but I haven't concocted heaven grade before. Lung Ruashua said. Well, why don't you try refining it? Anyway, the herbs I've collected over the years are enough for you to practice, Empty said very generously. Won't feel that it's a pity if it fails, Lung Ruashua reminded. She had to get the unpleasantness out of the way so that she wouldn't be blamed later. No, I have a lot of herbs, Empty said nonchalantly. How could she not fail since it was practice? Therefore, he didn't care how many herbs he lost. He just wanted the result. Do you have the formula for the Ice Mystic Pill? She had to look at the formula before refining the pill. Otherwise, she would fail if she didn't know the order of the herbs. Yes, here. Empty took out a slightly yellowed piece of paper and handed it to Lung Ruashua. Give me the herbs. I'll try. Lung Ruashua took the pill formula, looked at it carefully, and remembered the order of the herbs. Then she stretched out her hand and asked for the herbs. Here. Empty took out a storage ring from who knows where and handed it to Lung Ruashua. Lung Ruashua took the ring and sent her divine sense in to take a look. There were so many herbs. The herbs in the ring were like small mountains, pile after pile, so much so that it left her speechless. These herbs are enough for you to practice hundreds of times, right? Empty asked with a smile. These were the fruits from thousands of years of collection. He would definitely scare this girl. Yes, if I succeed in refining it, the remaining herbs will be my reward. Lung Ruashua said unceremoniously. No problem. I just want one Ice Mystic Pill. Empty's requirement wasn't high. The reason he gathered so many herbs was to save his beast, so one ice mystic pill was enough for him. Okay, I'll try my best to satisfy your request. Lung Ruoxue nodded. She sat on the ground and took out a pill furnace to begin concocting pills. After lighting the fire and preheating, Long Ruoxue threw the herbs needed to concoct the ice mystic pill into the furnace one by one. After the herbs melted, she began to purify. The white ball-sized medicinal liquid became the size of a baby's fist after purification. Then it was time to condense the pills. This was also the most important step in whether the ice mystic pill was successful or not. At this moment, Long Ruoxue, Freak, and the ghost were staring at the pill furnace intently. They were so nervous that they didn't even dare to breathe. A moment later, the unique fragrance of the pill wafted in the stone room. This was the sign of the success of the pill. Smelling this refreshing fragrance, Long Ruoxue was overjoyed. She really didn't expect to succeed on her first try at concocting a heaven-grade pill. Didn't this mean that she already had the strength of an alchemy supremacy? Schwer, quickly open the pill furnace and take a look. How many pills have you refined? Empty urged anxiously. His wish for many years had finally come true. Was this real? He simply couldn't believe it. Okay. Long Ruoxue understood Empty's anxiety, so she didn't keep him in suspense. She directly opened the pill furnace and saw 10 crystal-clear pills lying quietly in the middle of the pill furnace. Empty counted the pills and said happily, 10 pills? Great. I didn't expect you to have such good results on your first heaven-grade pill concoction. This is for you. Take it to save your beast. Long Ruoxue picked up an ice mystic pill, handed it to Empty, and then stored the other ice mystic pills in a jade bottle. This ice mystic pill was good stuff. It was definitely a holy medicine for ice and water attribute beasts, and Empty only needed one pill, so she stored the rest. Empty took the ice mystic pill excitedly and walked to the side of the sleeping ice Cheelin. He gently opened the Cheelin's mouth and sent the ice mystic pill into his mouth. Then he waited anxiously by the bed. Long Ruoxue leaned against Freak and closed her eyes to rest. After a long while, the sleeping ice Cheelin finally showed signs of waking up. After waiting for about half an hour, the ice Cheelin finally woke up. Master! The ice Cheelin's big icy blue eyes were instantly excited when he saw Empty. He immediately transformed and jumped into Empty's arms, but he didn't expect to go through him. Master! The ice Cheelin's blue eyes looked at his master with tears. Boo-hoo! How did this happen? Icy, it's good that you're awake. Don't be sad. I'm fine. Empty caressed the ice Cheelin's head and coaxed him. Master, your injuries aren't healed, Icy said with certainty. As his master's beast, he knew very well how serious his master's injuries were. But Icy, am fine. Empty smiled and comforted him. He really didn't expect Icy to not only wake up, but also recover his peak strength. This was great. He was sincerely happy for Icy. Master, my injuries are all healed. I will protect you. The ice Cheelin raised his head, his blue eyes full of determination. Chapter 369. Please take care. I won't be seeing you out. 4. Empty nodded with relief and said to Icy. Okay, Icy. It's all thanks to Schwer that you could wake up. You have to thank her properly. Schwer. 2 big question marks appeared in Icy's ice blue eyes. After he woke up, his eyes were full of his master, and he didn't see anyone else at all. It's this girl. He pointed helplessly at Long Ruoxue, who was sleeping in Freak's arms. Did this girl fall asleep again? Icy jumped to Long Ruoxue's side and said very politely, Oh, thank you for saving me. You're welcome. Long Ruoxue slowly opened her eyes and looked at the transformed ice Cheelin. Icy looked at Long Ruoxue, then turned to look at Freak and said with slight surprise, You two look very unique. Yes. Long Ruoxue's forehead was full of black lines. She absolutely didn't expect to be praised by a Cheelin who transformed into a puppy one day. Look very unique. Well, I guess this can be considered a compliment. Hee. At this moment, the sneers of the beast sounded in Long Ruoxue's sound. She found it even more unbearable. Schwer, let's leave this place, Empty said while suppressing his laughter. Okay, Long Ruashua quickly replied and stood up. I see, right? Your master is there. Long Ruashua couldn't help reminding the Ice Cheelin, who had jumped onto her shoulder, and pointed at Empty. I know, but master can't carry me now, Icy said sadly. Long Ruashua was speechless. What kind of logic does this Ice Cheelin have? Can't he walk by himself if his master can't carry him? Must he rely on others? Do you dislike me? I'm a level 9 transcendent divine beast. If you weren't my savior, I wouldn't be willing to stay on your shoulder, Icy said very cockily. Long Ruashua glanced at Empty powerlessly. She really didn't know if she had saved a beast or an ancestor. Moreover, from what this Ice Cheelin implied, she had to thank him for being willing to stay on her shoulder. Schwer, thank you for your hard work. The corners of Empty's mouth twitched slightly. Alas, even after Icy had slept for so long, his preferences hadn't changed at all. I want compensation, Long Ruashua said fiercely. She had already decided that she wanted to make a killing off of Empty. No problem, Empty said readily. The 3 humans and 1 beast walked out of the cave. As they came out, they enveloped their mystic power around Long Ruashua and Freak and flew out of the mountain stream. Empty, you liar. You said you would be our guide, but you wanted us to accompany you to see your beast, Long Ruashua complained after exiting the mountain stream. Oh right, she had also saved his beast by the way. It was too early just now. There's nothing interesting in Carefree City. The time now is just right, Empty said cunningly. Then bring us there quickly, Long Ruashua urged. Master, where are we going? Icy, who was lying on Long Ruashua's shoulder, asked in confusion. He had been sleeping for too long, and many things were different from what he remembered. To explore Carefree City, Empty said lightly. Oh, okay. Icy yawned. You just woke up. Do you want to sleep again? Long Ruashua looked at the sleepy blue puppy on her shoulder speechlessly. Almost the entire life of Cheelins is spent in sleep, Icy said matter-of-factly. Oh, go to sleep then. Long Ruashua stopped talking. It seemed that Cheelins were the beasts that loved to sleep the most. No wonder they were so fat. While they walked, Empty suddenly pointed at a very imposing building. Schwer, that Carefree Pavilion is the best restaurant in Carefree City. Let's go in and eat something. Eat? Okay. Icy hurriedly opened his tightly shut blue eyes when he heard that there was something to eat. His face was full of anticipation. Go in. Long Ruashua shook her head. There was really nothing she could do about this master and beast. Guests, this must be your first time here. Please come in. The waiter welcomed them warmly as soon as they entered the Carefree Pavilion. But he could only see Long Ruashua and Freak, and he automatically ignored the blue puppy. Is there a private room? Long Ruashua asked when she saw the waiter leading them to the dining area. There was no way to eat in the dining area. I'm sorry, but it's almost dinner time, so the private rooms are all full. I'm afraid you'll have to make do with this, the waiter said very respectfully while pointing at a table. Anyone who came to the Carefree Pavilion for a meal wouldn't be of low status, so the waiting absolutely didn't dare to slight them. All right then, serve us more of everything delicious, Long Ruashua ordered and sat down directly on a chair. Freak and Empty sat on each side of her, and Icy jumped directly onto the table. Okay, please wait for a moment. Not long after the waiter left, plates of delicious dishes were served on the table one after another. After the dishes were served, the 3 humans and 1 beast began to feast. The dishes of the Carefree Pavilion are still very delicious, but they have deteriorated, Empty said emotionally, and put a piece of meat in his mouth. Then eat more, Long Ruashua said. She wasn't very interested in the dishes of the Carefree Pavilion, but she also ate a few mouthfuls after seeing this person and his beast eating so happily. Manager, how can such a high-class restaurant allow pet beasts to eat on the table? A sharp voice entered Long Ruashua's and Freak's ears. Icy, who was stuffing himself on the table, didn't even look up when he heard this voice. He continued to eat the food attentively. As for Long Ruashua and Freak, they knew who the owner of the voice was without even looking, so they naturally couldn't be bothered. Miss Sun, the private room you booked is upstairs, the manager said with a troubled expression. What he implied was that what somebody didn't see couldn't hurt them. Chapter 370. Please take care. I won't be seeing you out. 5. After all, the people who came here were either mystics or alchemists. Every one of them couldn't be provoked easily. Otherwise, who knew what kind of opportunities the person you offended today would have tomorrow? It wasn't like there were no examples of new leases on life on the boundless heaven continent. Therefore, the manager wasn't stupid. Moreover, he wasn't a servant of the Sun family. No matter how strong the Sun family was, their tentacles wouldn't be able to reach Carefree City. So the little princess of the Sun family was really nothing in his eyes. Manager, I won't eat here anymore if you don't chase these two unruly people out today, Sun Malin threatened. Then, Miss Sun, please take care. I won't be seeing you out, the manager said without being servile nor overbearing. If this little princess of the Sun family didn't threaten him, he would probably be more polite to her. There was no need for that now. Sun Malin was dumbfounded. Does this damn manager know my identity? How dare he treat me like this? How hateful. Haha. Long Ruoxue couldn't help laughing when she saw this scene. This manager was a little interesting. Ugly monster. How dare you laugh? Sun Malin roared furiously, and her sharp voice immediately attracted the gazes of the dining guests. Miss Sun, I remember telling you that as the second most beautiful woman on the boundless heaven continent, you have to take note of your image at all times. How sad would those stupid men who don't have eyes and admire you be if they saw you shouting like a shrew? You are the goddess in their hearts. Long Ruoxue said mockingly with a light smile. Hearing this, Freak, Empty, and Icy laughed hysterically. The dining guests didn't dare to laugh so brazenly because of Sun Malin's identity, but the unconcealable smiles on their lips revealed their current happy mood. The manager also turned his back to Sun Malin, but his shoulders were trembling nonstop. It was obvious that he had been enduring very hard. Liner, what's the matter? Why haven't you come in yet? Zhou asked in puzzlement while walking down from upstairs. Cousin, these two ugly monsters and that annoying dog actually humiliated me, Sun Malin complained after finding a backer. What are they laughing about? Zhou asked lightly while looking at Long Ruoxue. Alas, it's really unlucky to meet this ugly monster during a meal. Long Ruoxue's admiring gaze was still in his heart, lingering for a long time. He felt nauseous just thinking about being looked at by an ugly woman with that disgusting gaze. This woman humiliated me and called me a shrew, Sun Malin said angrily while glaring fiercely at Icy, who was rolling on the table exaggeratedly and laughing hysterically. How could Liner be a shrew? Zhou coaxed, but he actually thought so too. Moreover, no one knew the true colors of this stunning beauty better than him. Cousin, tell the manager that I won't eat here anymore if he doesn't chase them out. Sun Malin pointed the spearhead at the manager and continued to complain. Liner, let's not make things difficult for the manager. It's not easy for him either, Zhou pleaded. In fact, he knew very well that he couldn't order these restaurant managers and storekeepers in Carefree City because they wouldn't care about his identity at all. Thank you for your understanding, President Zhou, the manager said very generously. Then he shook his sleeves and left this troublesome place without even looking at Sun Malin. Cousin, how can you plead for him? He doesn't respect you at all, Sun Malin complained, very displeased with the manager's attitude. Liner, Carefree City isn't like other cities. We better keep a low profile here, Zhou advised. That fellow didn't even give any face to his master, let alone him. What could he do? But he wouldn't say this to Sun Malin. Liner, let's go upstairs to eat, Zhou continued. No, I'm already full of anger, Sun Malin said irritably. Then she walked in front of Long Ruoxue and the others and said arrogantly, Ugly monster, I'm looking forward to meeting you in the competition. If she wanted to get rid of Long Ruoxue, she could only do so in the competition because private fights were not allowed in Carefree City. With that, Sun Malin left the Carefree Pavilion angrily. Liner, Zhou Kuan hurriedly chased after her. Swear, I see. You're going to be in trouble. Empty gloated after Sun Meilin left. Empty, you seem very happy. Lung Ruoxue asked mischievously. Little Snowy One, my master is just like this, Icy said nonchalantly. Alas, it had been so many years, but his master's nature of wanting to see the world burn hadn't changed at all. Yes, I can see that. Lung Ruoxue nodded cautiously. The apple didn't fall far from the tree. Both master and beast were not much different. Little Snowy, you have to protect me, Icy said pitifully, his big ice-blue eyes glittering with tears. Do you even need my protection? Lung Ruoxue glanced at Icy speechlessly. A level 9 transcendent divine beast actually sought protection from a mere elementary mystic like her. What was this? Of course. Fighting isn't my specialty, Icy boasted shamelessly without blushing nor skipping a beat. I can tell. You master and beast are best at causing trouble. Lung Ruoxue said bluntly. Little Snowy, you really know us well, Icy said proudly. Yeah. Freak, let's go back. Lung Ruoxue turned to look at Freak helplessly. Okay, let's go back. Grandpa and the others are probably anxious from waiting, Freak said with a light smile. After settling the bill, the three of them and the beast walked out of the carefree pavilion and returned to the Mystic Association headquarters. At the residence of Lung Ruoxue and the others, why isn't that little girl back yet? Lan Ming paced around like an ant on a hot pan in the living room. Chapter 371. You are the dog, the watchdog, 1. President Lan. Stop spinning around. Okay? I'm dizzy. Old Zao said impatiently. That girl has been out for several hours, but she hasn't returned yet. Lan Ming said anxiously. Shuer is already so old and won't get lost, Lung Qingtian said nonchalantly. You don't know the power of my granddaughter. Otherwise, you would be scared to death. I'm not afraid of her getting lost, Lan Ming said angrily. President Lan, calm down. Shuer will be back soon. Lin Liang persuaded. Alas, wasn't it just the competition being brought forward? What was the big deal? We're back. Lung Ruoxue's voice sounded in their ears as soon as Lin Liang finished speaking. Lan Ming deliberately put on a stern face and said with some displeasure, Lass, you're finally willing to come back. What? Did something happen? Lung Ruoxue asked doubtfully while looking at Lan Ming's expression. Yes, the competition originally scheduled 3 days later has been brought forward to tomorrow, Lan Ming explained with a frown. That's it? Lung Ruoxue said calmly. Alas, I thought something big happened. Seems like Sun Meilin is quite fast. Why aren't you surprised at all? Lan Ming looked at the calm Lung Ruoxue, very puzzled. What's so surprising about that? Lung Ruoxue asked instead of answering. That's right. You get worked up too easily. The quality of the mystics of the Mystic Association now is really too poor, Uncle Icy said, his fluffy little face full of dissatisfaction. Where did this puppy come from? 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Lan Ming's forehead. He was depressed. A puppy actually said that he got worked up too easily. You are the dog. What's with your gaze? Is there a dog as mighty and majestic as me? Icy slightly raised his eyelids in displeasure. Lan Ming was speechless. How dare this palm-sized little beast say that he's mighty and majestic? Then what are other beasts? Little Snowy, the quality of the Mystic Association needs to be improved, Icy said earnestly. The vice president of headquarters wasn't even a mystic supremacy. This was too disappointing. Thousands of years ago, even ordinary elders of the Mystic Association headquarters were at the mystic supremacy level. Yes, that's mainly because the headquarters president is too irresponsible, Lung Ruoxue said coldly. Where is he? They'll bite him. Icy roared furiously. Calm down. How can you bite people as you please? Lung Ruoxue's forehead was full of black lines. This was the first time she heard that a transcendent divine beast used biting in battle. You want to bite my master? With your teeth? Lan Ming looked at Icy with a skeptical expression. What? Do you want to try? Icy said in an unfriendly tone. Humph. He hated it when others questioned his words. Icy, give me some face. Don't bite him yet. Wait until after the competition, Lung Ruoxue pleaded very kindly. Okay, they'll definitely give little snowy face, Icy said understandingly. I say, can you not treat me as if I don't exist? Lan Ming growled. Boo-hoo. First this puppy wanted to bite his master, and then he wanted to bite him. What did this puppy treat them as? No, you better be obedient. Otherwise, don't blame me for being merciless, Icy said very unpleasantly. The current situation of the Mystic Association headquarters greatly displeased him. Humph. Everyone who doesn't manage the headquarters well is damn useless. Boo-hoo. I was actually threatened by a puppy. Lan Ming was really on the brink of tears, and it was the little girl who brought the puppy back. If it was someone else's, he would have dealt with him ruthlessly long ago. I see. They are my family. Lung Ruoxue held back her smile and introduced Icy to her grandfather and the others. Oh, little Snowy, you have a big family. What are their names? Icy asked curiously with his big ice-blue eyes open. According to Icy's request, Lung Ruoxue introduced her grandfather and the others. Little Tian Tian, Little Yang Liang, Little Old, Little Zao Zao, Little Jean Jean, Little N. Hello. Don't be afraid of me. You are Little Snowy's family. I won't bite you. Icy couldn't help comforting them after calling their names and seeing their slightly surprised expressions. Immediately, the room fell silent. Except for Lung Ruoxue and Freak, everyone was stunned. Little Snowy, are they scared by me? I really won't bite anyone, Icy said gloomily. Didn't he already explain it to them just now? Icy, right? Can you not call me Little Old? Old Man was the first to speak after coming back to his senses. Why? Aren't you called Old Man? There were question marks in Icy's blue eyes. I didn't call him wrongly, right? My name is an Old Man. Old Man couldn't help protesting. In fact, he had a name too, but no one had called him it for many years. Little Snowy? Icy looked at Lung Ruoxue doubtfully. We all call him Old Man, Lung Ruoxue explained. Oh, then you are Little Old. Icy would never change his mind once he set his mind on something. Haha, Little Old, that's a good name. Old Zao couldn't help laughing hysterically. Yes, much better than your Little Zao. Old Man said coldly without even looking up. Lung Qingtian and the others present suppressed their laughter with their faces flushed red. At the same time, they were secretly glad. Phew. Fortunately, they were usually called by their names. Icy, he is Lan Ming. Lung Ruoxue continued to introduce. At the same time, she was very curious about the sort of name Icy would give to the Feng family's first elder. Where did the first elder go? Oh, Little Lan. Icy said in realization. Little Lan. What a relief. It's better than Little Old and Little Zao. Lan Ming sighed in relief. Grandpa, where's the first elder? Lung Ruoxue turned to her grandfather. Chapter 372. You are the dog, the watchdog, too. He's cultivating his mystic skills in his room. Lung Qingtian explained. Oh, right, Little Lan. What's the procedure for tomorrow's competition? Lung Ruoxue called out mischievously like Icy. Tomorrow is the preliminary round. The winner will advance, and the loser will have another chance in an additional round, Lan Ming explained. Is there only one round? Lung Ruoxue asked curiously. There are at least 100 branches on the boundless heaven continent, right? How many years would it take to compete if they hold one round a day? Yes, there's only one round tomorrow, Lan Ming said. Mystic competitions were very intense, and there would often be casualties. Therefore, only one round could be arranged a day to give everyone enough time to rest. How many people will be participating? Lung Ruoxue asked. The exact number of people won't be known until tomorrow. However, there are 120 Mystic Association branches on the boundless heaven continent. Each branch is usually only allowed 10 people to participate in the competition. but some large branches can send 15 people to participate. The branches with too few people are also allowed to forfeit. The minimum number of participants from each branch is 5 people, so the number of people can't be estimated now. However, it shouldn't exceed 1,500 people, Lan Ming said. How long will this competition take? Lung Ruoxue continued asking. Many people will be eliminated in this week of the competition, so moving forward, the competition will be relatively easier. The competition at the later stage is the true highlight. Moreover, it will become more intense as time passes. In addition, I also want to remind you that casualties are allowed in the Mystic Association's competition. Moreover, there are often people who play dirty in the competition, so you have to be careful. Lan Ming reminded worriedly. How can they allow underhand means in an official competition? Lung Ruoxue really couldn't understand. No one will care the slightest about losses in order to select better mystics. Moreover, in a world where the strong are respected, you can only be eliminated by the rules if you can't adapt to the rules. This is also the main reason why mystics have such noble identities and statuses. Moreover, mystics selected through the competition can be said to be dragons among men, and their future is limitless, Lan Ming explained. In other words, we can settle our personal grudges openly in the competition, Lung Ruoxue said in realization. No wonder Sun Mailin said, I hope to meet you in the competition. It seemed that Sun Mailin had decided to get rid of her. The purpose of the competition is to win by whatever means necessary. If there is a personal grudge between two opponents, it can be resolved on the battlefield. Moreover, the headquarters won't ask about it. Lan Ming might not know why Lung Ruoxue asked about this, but he still answered honestly. Little Lan, Zhou Kun's branch has 15 people participating, right? Lung Ruoxue asked with certainty. There are 20 from Zhou Kun's branch, but only 15 should participate. Lan Ming nodded slightly. Alas, what he was most afraid of was that Lung Ruoxue and the others would meet Zhou Kun's people because those people really worried him. Little Snowy, don't be afraid. I will accompany you in battle. Icy had an expression that said, feel relieved with me here. We can bring pet beasts? Lung Ruoxue was surprised.
Yes.
Lan Ming nodded. Alas, they were already allowed to take revenge for personal grudges, so what if they brought a pet beast? That's good, Lung Ruoxue said with satisfaction. What she lacked the most now was money, but what she lacked the least were beasts. Moreover, there was a level 9 transcendent divine beast willing to fight with her. Hee. This was an existence equivalent to a mystic supremacy. I have no more questions. Let's rest early today. Lung Ruoxue planned to go to bed. Wait, Little Snowy, we still have to discuss our strategy. Lan Ming also followed Icy's way of calling her. Tomorrow is only the first match. What's there to discuss? Sleep is the most important. Little Lan, calm down. Don't be too nervous, Lung Ruoxue comforted. Then she pulled Freak back to her room to sleep. Lass is right. Little Lan, calm down. Old Zao said with a smile, and then quickly ran away. We're going to bed too. Little Lan, rest early, Lung Qingtian and the others said almost in unison. Seeing everyone leave in the blink of an eye, Lan Ming was depressed and summoned Jin Hui. Jin Hui, do you think the observers are more anxious than the people involved? The people participating in the competition seem to feel that it's nothing, but I'm very worried, Lan Ming complained to his beast. Jin Hui glanced at his master and thought, Master, you know it too, but he still had to console him. Master, those people are smart. Don't worry too much. Alas, that's true. Forget it. I won't think about it anymore. Let's go to bed. Lan Ming stood up. The next morning, Lung Ruoxue was still not fully awake when she vaguely heard the sound of an argument. She opened her eyes very reluctantly and looked at the culprits. Why are you arguing so early in the morning? Lung Ruoxue said with displeasure. She was angry about being woken up. It's not me who's making a fuss. It's Master. Icy declared his innocence and betrayed his master without any sense of loyalty. Icy, you were the one who insisted on eating, but you actually blamed me. Boo-hoo. How can I have a beast like you who makes his master take the blame? Empty looked at Lung Ruoxue with a very innocent face. You're both the same. Lung Ruoxue exposed them bluntly. They just wanted to eat. There was no need to wake her up, right? Schwer. Little Snowy. Both the master and the beast blinked their beautiful blue eyes and looked at her adorably. Didn't I leave you a lot of food before I went to bed yesterday? Lung Ruoxue said with a slight headache. It's all eaten, the master and the beast said in unison. Little Snowy, master and I caught many snakes. Cook them for us to eat. Icy's face was full of anticipation, his blue eyes shining. Ah, the snake meat Little Snowy gave them yesterday was really too delicious. He had lived for thousands of years, but he had never known that snakes were actually so delicious. At the thought, his saliva couldn't help flowing down. Chapter 373. You are the dog, the watchdog. 3. You went out? Lung Ruoxue asked doubtfully. Okay, we went to catch snakes, Icy said ingratiatingly while rubbing Lung Ruoxue's tender arm. Where are the snakes? Lung Ruoxue asked curiously. Here. Empty hurriedly handed her a pet ring. Lung Ruoxue took the ring and sent her divine sense in. These are the snakes you caught? Lung Ruoxue's forehead was full of black lines, and her heart was palpitating. Did these two fellows catch all the snakes on the boundless heaven continent? Moreover, the snakes they caught are actually still alive, and the weakest ones seem to be divine beasts. Yes. Didn't you say that the stronger the snake, the more delicious the meat? So we didn't catch any below divine beast, Empty hurriedly said as if he was presenting a treasure. Little Snowy, don't be scared. These stinky snakes won't dare to bite you. They're all very obedient. In fact, I initially wanted to kill all of them, but Master said that live ones are fresher, Icy added, his fluffy little face full of pride. Freak opened his eyes and asked in puzzlement, What's fresher? See for yourself. Lung Ruoxue was really speechless. Alas, these two gluttons. Freak took the ring from Schwer and said with his mouth agape, Why are there so many snakes? Where did they come from? Little Chin Chun, Master and I want to catch them. How is it? It's enough to eat now, right? Icy said happily. Yes, it's enough. Freak's incomparably handsome face was full of helplessness. This was no longer a matter of whether it was enough or not. There were so many that eating them would make anyone vomit. Hee hee. Icy smiled proudly. Freak, let's pack up and go out. Lung Ruoxue said to Freak. Her grandfather and the others should be up already. Okay. Freak nodded. The two of them washed up and left the room, and Icy naturally followed closely behind. Empty, I'll find a time to introduce you to my family, Lung Ruoxue said while looking at Empty, who was following them. If Empty really wanted to follow them, he couldn't stay invisible forever, right? Yes, but I don't want the people from the headquarters to know of my existence. Empty nodded. Okay. Lung Ruoxue nodded. Lung Qingtian and the others had already prepared breakfast in the courtyard. Schwer, good timing. Come have breakfast. Lung Qingtian hurriedly greeted his precious granddaughter. Grandpa, where's Lan Ming? Lung Ruoxue and Freak found a seat and sat down, but she couldn't help asking curiously when she didn't see Lan Ming. He went to the competition venue early in the morning to draw lots, Lung Qingtian explained. Oh, Grandpa, I'll introduce you to someone, Lung Ruoxue said. Lan Ming wasn't here, so it was a good opportunity. Alas, Empty didn't want the people of the headquarters to know about him. Who is it? Schwer, why are you so mysterious? Long Qingshan's curiosity was piqued. Empty. Lung Ruoxue looked at Empty. Empty understood immediately, and he directly appeared in front of Lung Qingtian and the others. Schwer, Lung Qingtian and the others looked at the young man who appeared out of thin air in front of them, and their jaws almost fell to the ground. Grandpa, he's the owner of this house. But the people of the Mystic Association headquarters don't know of his existence. Moreover, he doesn't want them to know, so you have to keep this secret, Lung Ruoxue explained. Oh, okay, Lung Qingtian quickly replied after reacting, but he couldn't help secretly sizing up the man named Empty. He couldn't tell this man's cultivation level at all. Moreover, the man in front of him gave him an indescribable and strange feeling. Empty is the master of the icy, Long Ruashua added. Oh, everyone was enlightened. No wonder that blue puppy followed Long Ruashua. Empty will be following us from now on. Long Ruashua continued to throw a bomb. Everyone was shocked again and looked at Long Ruashua in unison until they were sure that she was serious. Oh, Long Qingtian answered on behalf of everyone. He didn't know Empty's identity, but he believed in his granddaughter's judgment. Little Snowy, can we eat now? I'm so hungry, Icy, who had been waiting for too long, said pitifully. Let's eat. Long Ruashua nodded. Alas, there are really more and more gluttons around me. Empty, aren't you eating? Long Qingtian couldn't help asking curiously when he saw that everyone had already started eating, but Empty hadn't moved his chopsticks at all. I'm not hungry. You go ahead. Empty said lightly, his handsome face maintaining a smile. He had seen everyone's reactions just now and was very satisfied with their reactions. These people didn't know his identity at all, but they were still willing to accept him. This should be Schwer's credit. Instead of saying they believed that he wasn't a bad person, it was better to say that they believed in Schwer's judgment more. Grandpa, he's a carnivore, Long Ruashua teased. Oh, we usually eat light for breakfast. We only cook meat for lunch and dinner, Long Qingtian explained. It's okay. Empty smiled. Empty, do as you please. Don't stand on ceremony with us. We don't have so many rules, old Zao said. I know. Empty smiled. He wouldn't have appeared at all if he didn't know these people's temperament very well. Empty, do you know much about the competition of the Mystic Association headquarters? Long Ruashua turned her head and looked at Empty.
Yes.
Empty nodded. How could he not know? The previous competitions were very fair. That was the real competition to select talents. The competition has lost its meaning now. But the rewards for the competition are becoming more and more generous, Empty explained. Yes, I'm going for the rewards, so those people better have eyes and not provoke me. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that I won't be ruthless, Long Ruashua said domineeringly. Chapter 374. You are the dog, the watchdog. 4. Little Snowy, don't worry. I will help you. With me around, those rewards will definitely be yours, Icy said very loyally. Little Icy, you're really interesting, old Zao said happily. Little Icy. Icy was startled. It had been a long time since he became an adult, and anyone called him Little Icy. Boo-hoo. It feels so familiar. What? Don't you like it? Old Zao asked aggrievedly. Boo-hoo. He didn't even dislike the nickname Little Zao Zao. No, I approve of you calling me Little Icy, Icy said very happily. Okay. Old Zao nodded repeatedly. Grandpa, Lan Ming isn't here. How are we going to the competition venue later? Long Ruashua asked doubtfully. She didn't know the location of the venue. Lan Ming told me before he left. We can go directly, Long Qingtian said. Long Ruashua nodded and continued eating. After eating and tidying up, Long Ruashua and the others set off. After taking several turns, they finally found the competition venue half an hour later. Although the competition venue wasn't very far from the Mystic Association headquarters, it wasn't easy to find for people going there for the first time. I didn't expect this place to become the competition venue. Empty looked at the enormous venue in front of him and sighed emotionally. This place used to be just a barren land. Let's go in. Long Ruashua looked at everyone. Long Qingtian and the others nodded and were about to enter when they were stopped at the entrance. I'm sorry. Please show your identification, the guard at the entrance said coldly. Does everyone have to show their identification? Long Ruashua asked in an unfriendly tone. Of course, the guard replied. Then why didn't you ask the people who entered before us to show their identification? Long Ruashua questioned with some displeasure. They are mystics from Sunzhou City. I know them. Of course there's no need, the guard said matter-of-factly. What he implied was that he didn't know them. Oh, is this all right? Long Ruashua took out her mystic identification and shook it in front of the guard. "You can enter now," the guard said. Freak and the others also took out their identification. "You can go in now, but you better watch your dog. Don't let it bite anyone. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences," the guard warned as he looked at Icy, who was lying on Long Ruaksha's shoulder. "Fuck. You are the dog, the watchdog," Icy cursed furiously. "Haha, little Icy, you're so right. Isn't he just a watchdog?" Old Zao laughed exaggeratedly. Hee hee. It was so enjoyable when little Icy scolded people. Although Long Qingtian and the others weren't smiling as exaggeratedly as old Zao, they were also smiling happily. But little Icy, we should only say this in our hearts. Alas, we have to leave some face for the association. Old Zao changed the topic and advised earnestly. "Yes, you're right." Icy nodded seriously in agreement. "You." The guard was so angry that he couldn't say anything and his face and neck were red. "Let's go." Long Ruashue glanced at the guard indifferently. There was really no need to be angry with such a small fry. Okay. Everyone walked in. Although there were only a few people outside the competition venue, the venue was already crowded and bustling. "Schwer, looks like we're late." Long Qingtian looked at the densely packed heads in front of him and felt a little headache. He didn't like crowded places at all now. "Grandpa, the best has to be the finale, of course," Long Ruashue said mischievously. "Hee hee, little Snowy is right. We can't lower our status," Icy praised. "You're here." Lon Ming appeared in front of everyone. "Little Lon, you don't look too good." Long Ruashue looked at Lon Ming and teased. "I'm sorry. I was too unlucky and couldn't draw you good opponents," Lon Ming said guiltily. Long Ruakshu's and the others' opponents were very strong. "Oh." Long Ruashue and the others answered lightly, and there was no reaction after this. "Can your reactions not be so calm? Why didn't anyone ask me who your opponents are?" Lon Ming said gloomily. These people's reactions were really too strange, making him unable to say what he wanted to say. "What's there to ask?" "Well, no, later." Long Ruashue suppressed her smile. "Lass, don't you know what it means to know your enemy? Your opponent is one of the strongest in the group," Lon Ming said worriedly. "It's better for them to be stronger. There will be a greater sense of accomplishment to beat them." "I don't like opponents who are too weak," Long Ruashue said calmly. "Little Lon, I can settle everyone here with a single claw. What's there to worry about?" Icy said disdainfully. Alas, it seemed that the Mystic Association was really at the end of its rope. He scanned the area with his divine sense just now, but didn't find anyone worthy of being his opponent. "Did you hear that? Little Lon, I have little Icy here. Everything will be okay." Long Ruashue comforted. There was naturally no need to expose her beasts since Icy was willing to fight with her. "Lass, he's just a puppy. How can you place your hopes on him?" The words disapproval were written on Lon Ming's handsome face. "Little Lon, they'll bite you if you call me a puppy again," Icy warned. Lon Ming didn't want to be bitten by a dog and hurriedly apologized. I'm sorry. I was wrong." "Lass, you really can't be too careless. Your opponent is Sunan, one of the top 10 geniuses of the Boundless Heaven continent. He is very strong. Moreover, he has been an elementary mystic for a longer time than you, and there are even rumors that he will advance to great mystic soon," Lon Ming reminded, his eyes faintly worried. Although Long Ruaksha's talent was the best he had ever seen, she had been a mystic for too short a time. In this aspect, Sunan was completely incomparable to her. Chapter 375. You are the dog, the watchdog. 5. Oh. Long Ruashue answered lightly. "Lass, are you trying to make me die of anxiety?" Lon Ming said angrily. Long Ruaksha's reaction really made him very helpless. "Then what do you want me to do? Don't I already know?" Long Ruashue asked helplessly. Alas, men tend to become naggy when they grow older. Be careful too. If you really can't win, just admit defeat. No one will dare to play dirty if you admit defeat. Lon Ming didn't want to bother with Long Ruashue, who was giving him a headache. He directly turned his gaze to Long Qingtian and the others and continued to remind them, President Lan, how can you not have confidence in us? Long Qingtian said with some dissatisfaction. Lan Ming's words were for their own good, but as a former general, he really didn't like to hear demoralizing words. That's right. Although we're weak, the people participating in the competition are only one stage higher than us at best. It's not like we are going to fight against mystic supremacies. What's there to be afraid of? Feng Jin, who rarely spoke, said. Perhaps they weren't strong, but all of them were veterans who had been on the battlefield for a long time. They would definitely not lose to anyone here in terms of combat experience, so he was very confident in winning the first match. I'm sorry. I was too worried. All the best. The reward is already waving at you, Lan Ming said with a guilty expression. Alas, the older, the wiser. It seemed that Jin Hui was right. He didn't have to worry about these smart people at all. Haha, that's more like it. Old Zhao said with a smile. Okay, come with me. Lan Ming nodded and led everyone to their seats. The seating arrangements were good, and they happened to be in the middle of the competition venue. The field of vision was very wide, and they could see very clearly. This was the only thought in everyone's minds at this moment. Long Ruoxue and the others sat down and waited patiently for the competition to begin officially. What a coincidence. Our seats are actually next to each other. Sun Meilin's voice entered Long Ruoxue's and the others' ears. Unfortunately, her words didn't receive any response. Icy, who was lying on Long Ruoxue's shoulder, raised his eyelids slightly and asked with some displeasure, Little Snowy, what's this smell? It stinks. I don't know. The air here is bad. Bear with it. Long Ruoxue held in her laughter and comforted him. Alas, now she knew why their seats were so good. It turned out that someone deliberately did it. I can't take it anymore, Icy said impatiently. While speaking, he actually sneezed, and coincidentally, the sneeze landed on Sun Meilin. Suddenly, Sun Meilin, who had yet to react, directly crossed the railing separating the audience seats and arenas and was sprayed onto the inner area of the competition venue. Moreover, she landed in a position with her legs upright. And coincidentally, she was wearing a skirt for the sake of beauty and exposed everything to the audience clearly. Everyone who saw this scene was stunned at first. Then laughter and discussions resounded throughout the entire venue. Haha, what a funny fall. Old Zhao laughed hysterically with tears in his eyes. This little princess of the Sun family doesn't have a very good figure. Look at the flesh on her waist. It's almost as thick as my waist. Her legs are quite thick, and her chest isn't big enough. It seems like this second beauty only has a passable face. I didn't come for nothing today. At this moment, Zhou Kuan glared at Long Ruoxue and the others and roared at the audience. Be careful of your heads if you continue spouting nonsense. Unfortunately, there were too many people in the audience, and their discussions were loud, so no one heard Zhou Kun's words. President Zhou, you should quickly send people down to save your cousin. If she doesn't get up soon, she might not be able to participate in the competition. Alas, the ground is so cold. Lan Ming reminded kindly, but his face was full of a gloating smile. Hee, good job, little Icy. He cheered for little Icy in his heart. Just you wait. The Sun family won't let you go. Zhou Kuan threatened Long Ruoxue and the others. With that, he brought his subordinates into the inner area to save Sun Meilin. Alas, we're being threatened again. Long Ruoxue sighed softly and helplessly. Alas, the cute little Icy is also threatened. Icy mimicked Long Ruoxue's tone, but his beautiful blue eyes were full of excitement. He loved being threatened. Are you two really scared? Lan Ming asked doubtfully. He didn't notice any feelings of fear from their tone at all. How can I not be afraid? The Sun family. That's the Sun family, one of the three great families, a colossus of the boundless heaven continent, and am just a small elementary mystic, Long Ruoxue said very seriously. That's right. I'm just a little beast. I can't afford to offend the Sun family. Icy frowned with a very serious expression. Continue pretending. Lan Ming was speechless and grumbled in his head. He had never seen a little beast that could send someone flying with a sneeze. Sun Mailin was an elementary mystic. She wasn't made of paper. Boo-hoo. Little Snowy, you have to protect me. Icy's blue eyes welled up with tears as he sobbed. Lung Ruoxue didn't say anything, but she kept shooting glances at Icy, wanting to remind him that his acting was too much. Just keep it to the point. Little Snowy, what happened to your eyes? Icy asked foolishly with tears in his eyes. My eyes are blurry. Lung Ruoxue gave a random reason. Alas, I really don't know if Icy is smart or stupid now. Oh, the wind is a little strong. You have to be careful. Icy reminded. Alas. Lan Ming turned his head weakly, no longer looking at Lung Ruoxue and Icy. He was too inexperienced compared to these two cunning foxes, and he admitted defeat. Welcome, Mystics. The grand competition held by our Mystic Association headquarters every 5 years is about to begin officially today. This is the largest turnout of mystics participating in the competition throughout history. I hereby represent the Mystic Association headquarters to congratulate every mystic in advance on achieving good results. Chapter 376, You Are the Dog, the Watchdog, 6. In addition, I have another piece of good news to tell everyone in advance. First place in this year's competition will be accepted as President Wu's personal disciple. So, everyone, please work hard. At this moment, the host's voice sounded from the inner area of the competition venue, and this also indicated that the competition was about to begin. The moment the host finished speaking, the audience immediately erupted in applause. The representatives of the various branches participating in the competition were even more excited. Little Lon Lon, why didn't you tell me that first place will be accepted as a personal disciple by that fellow surnamed Wu? Lung Ruoxue said with some dissatisfaction. She wanted to win first place, but she didn't want to become someone's disciple. That fellow wasn't qualified to be her master. I just found out too. But usually, first place in the competition will basically be accepted as a disciple by the president of headquarters, Lan Ming explained. Oh, looks like this person surnamed Wu intends to replace him. Little Lan Lan, if your master doesn't come out, this Wu guy will control the headquarters in the future. No, it will be controlled by the Sun guy, Lung Ruoxue said understandingly. This Wu guy's ambition was obvious, and he was closely related to the Sun family. Alas, my master, Lan Ming frowned helplessly. Of course, he also hoped that his master could leave seclusion early. But he couldn't go to the secret room to drag his master out if his master didn't come out himself. Moreover, he couldn't enter either. Your master better not come out of seclusion now, or I will definitely bite him, Icy said impatiently. Icy wouldn't let Lan Ming's master go after he managed the Mystic Association headquarters to this extent. Lan Ming didn't know what to say. Why does this puppy always want to bite Master? How did Master offend this puppy? Master, take care. There's a puppy waiting to bite you outside. While Lan Ming was letting his imagination run wild, the competition officially began. For today's matches, there were a total of 10 arenas, and matches would take place at the same time. The participating representatives would go on stage in accordance with the prearranged order. The winner would advance directly, and the loser would have to compete in another round. Old Zao, you're the first to go on stage among us. All the best. Lan Ming reminded Old Zao as he looked at him. Yes, don't worry. They'll definitely start with a bang for everyone, Old Zao promised with a smile. He might be the weakest among them, but he was an artificer. He had long prepared a secret weapon. Moreover, he had several dragons, so he wasn't afraid of any opponents at all. Lung Ruoxue's gaze had been watching every move on the field. The 10 groups currently fighting on the field were not very strong. But the one who made her take a second look was the man in his early 30s on Arena 9. The man was tall, had an ordinary appearance, and wore ordinary clothes. Although his strength was only at Mystic, The aura on his body was not at all inferior to the elementary mystic he was fighting. So Lung Ruoxue believed that this man would definitely be able to amaze the world and become a powerhouse above everyone with time. As for his opponent, even though he was an elementary mystic, he likely ranked at the bottom among elementary mystics. So Lung Ruoxue was more optimistic about the ordinary-looking man in their group. Little Lon Lon. Who are those people on Arena 9? Lung Ruoxue asked curiously. Let me take a look. That man is from Thousand Willow City, and the other person is from Sunzhou City and Zhou Kun's group, Lan Ming said as he looked at the name list in his hands. Oh, Lung Ruoxue answered lightly and stopped talking. Little Snowy, which one do you think is better? Lan Ming asked curiously. He didn't believe that this girl was just asking casually. That linen-clothed man, Lung Ruoxue said calmly, ignoring the unfriendly gazes of Zhou Kun and the others not far away. Your vision is really not good. That man from Thousand Willow City is only a mystic. How can he beat an elementary mystic? This is too funny, someone from the Sunzhou City's Mystic Association said with a displeased face. Little Snowy, do you really think that man from Thousand Willow City will win? Lan Ming also said in disbelief. On the boundless heaven continent, wanting to defeat the strong as the weak was very difficult. Therefore, Lung Ruoxue ignored the Sunzhou City's mystic and said to Lan Ming with a chuckle, Little Lon Lon, wanna bet? Okay, what do you want to bet on? Lan Ming said with interest. 10 million purple gold coins. Give me 10 million if I win. If I lose, you can pay me 10 million less. How about it? Lung Ruoxue said with the expression of the big bad wolf tempting Little Red Riding Hood. Lan Ming was a little speechless when he heard this bet. Why is this girl thinking of amassing wealth all the time? He had really never seen such a materialistic person in his 30-odd years of life. I'll bet with you. But if you want to bet, bet big. How about 100 million purple gold coins? The mystic from Sunzhou City just now jumped out impatiently with a provocative face before Lan Ming could answer. Okay, I have no objections. But are you sure you can take out 100 million? Lung Ruoxue asked with a light smile. How could she not want someone rushing to give her money? Of course I do. Do you know who I am? Why wouldn't I be able to fork out 100 million purple gold coins? The mystic roared furiously. Damn ugly monster. How dare she suspect that he couldn't produce the money? This was simply the greatest humiliation to him. His family was one of the wealthiest families apart from the three great families. He would definitely crush this ugly monster with money later. To be honest, I really don't know who you are. This young lady only recognizes money and not people. If you want to bet with me, take out 100 million purple gold coins first. Otherwise, go wherever you want to go. Lung Ruoxue said without negotiation. Okay, isn't it just 100 million? Here. It's simply a drop in the bucket for this young master, and not worth mentioning. The mystic took out a silver card that was usable across the entire continent and handed it to Lung Ruoxue for her to check. Chapter 377. The Bet. 1. Lung Ruoxue took the card and casually glanced at it. Seems this guy is quite rich because this is actually an anonymous silver card. In other words, if this card was lost, then no matter who found it, they could use it. Lung Ruoxue sent her divine sense in and checked the balance. There was about 110 million purple gold coins inside. She was relieved and handed the card to Lan Ming for safekeeping. That's my card. The mystic couldn't help exclaiming when he saw his silver card going into Lan Ming's hand. I know. I'm just getting him to take care of it first because I'm afraid you will go back on your word. Lung Ruoxue said, almost infuriating the mystic to death. You? Sure enough, the mystic was almost angered to death by Lung Ruoxue, and he couldn't say a complete sentence even after a long time. You asked Su Hong to take out 100 million purple gold coins. Shouldn't you also take out 100 million, so that we can be at ease? Zhou Kun said. Moreover, his feminine face was wearing a bloodthirsty smile, as if he wanted to swallow them alive. Probably. But my guarantor is Lan Ming. If I can't pay, you can ask him for it. Long Ruoxue dragged Lan Ming into the water unceremoniously. Moreover, what she implied was that they could not trust her, but couldn't they trust Lan Ming? Alas! Lan Ming, beside her, sighed. He really wanted to cry in his heart. What did this have to do with him? Why did she drag him into it? He was very innocent, okay? Do you need Lan Ming to take out 100 million purple gold coins to reassure you? Long Ruoxue asked very innocently while blinking. No, there's no need. I believe President Lan won't renege on the debt, the mystic, Su Hong, hurriedly said. He knew that his president didn't get along with Lan Ming. However, the president could go against Lan Ming and look for trouble with him everywhere, but he didn't have the guts. President Zhou, as the actual parties involved, we have no objections. Do you have any objections? Long Ruoxue said with a spurious smile as she looked at the gloomy Zhou Kuan. Moreover, her meaning was obvious. She was telling Zhou Kuan not to be a busybody. I have no objections. Zhou Kuan looked at Su Hong resentfully. Your president doesn't seem to have a good temper. Do you want to consider changing your branch? Long Ruoxue asked understandingly. But she was thinking, Su Hong? What's his relationship with the Su family? No, there's no need. Our president is a good person, Su Hong quickly said with a pale face. Alas, look at how scared you are. It's most likely because you've suffered under President Zhou's abuse for a long time. You don't even dare to resist anymore, Long Ruoxue said in realization, her face full of pity for him. No, it's really not, Su Hong wanted to explain, but Long Ruoxue didn't give him a chance. There's no need to explain. I understand everything. Alas, what a pity. Long Ruoxue sighed heavily and stopped talking. Then she turned her gaze to the arena. Not far away, Su Hong was so depressed that he wanted to bang his head against a wall. Boo-hoo. How could this be? What happened? He was a little lost. Lung Qingtian and the others smiled silently. In fact, they were already laughing in their hearts. Alas, this girl's ability to trick people was really unparalleled. At this moment, the battles on the other arenas had already ended except for Arena 9. The fight on Arena 9 had also entered an exciting stage. Freak, we're going to get money, Long Ruoxue said happily as she leaned in Freak's arms. Hee 100 million purple gold coins. This was the reward for first place in the competition. She didn't expect to earn it so easily. Lass, can you buy me some materials when you have money? Old Zhao's eyes glittered as he looked at Long Ruoxue expectantly. What materials? Long Ruoxue looked at old Zhao doubtfully. They already had enough materials, so why did he still want to buy more? I need some flowing golden sand. We don't have much left, old Zhao explained. This thing is very expensive. 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Long Ruoxue's forehead. Why does old Zhao always want good things? 100 million purple gold coins probably can't buy much flowing golden sand. Old thing, you want to spend all the money that little girl worked so hard for? Old man roared with displeasure while glaring at old Zhao. Although he wasn't an artificer, he knew the value of the flowing golden sand very well. This thing was basically sand, but it was golden and produced in the deep sea. It was very difficult to mine, so it was very expensive. It is useful. Lass, you have to believe me. Old Zhao said aggrievedly. Don't we still have more? Isn't there enough? Long Ruoxue asked in puzzlement. Not enough. I need a lot of it to refine the equipment I want, old Zhao explained. Oh, then let's ask Blackie later to see if he has any. If not, we'll buy more, Long Ruoxue said after some thought. Yes. Hee lass, you definitely won't regret it, old Zhao said mysteriously. Long Ruoxue nodded slightly and shifted her gaze back to the stage. The first 10 matches of the competition finally ended with the linen-clothed man's final strike on Arena 9. Although the linen-clothed man won the final victory by defeating the strong as the weak, he also paid a tragic price and was seriously injured. It was still unknown whether he could participate in the competition tomorrow. It's only the first round. Do they have to work so hard? Old Zhao was a little speechless. If they lost, there was still a chance. Why did they have to work so hard? He really couldn't understand. This is a good opportunity to soar into the sky. Any normal person will want to grasp it, Lan Ming said. Little Lan, do you mean that we're not normal people? Lung Ruoxue said with a mischievous smile. That's not what I mean, Lan Ming said fearfully. He really thought so, but he didn't dare to say it out loud. Boo-hoo. He realized that his guts had become smaller and smaller since he met Lung Ruoxue and the others. Why did he suddenly become so useless? Chapter 378. The Bet 2. Little Snowy, this is the money you won. Lan Ming quickly handed over the silver card in his hand, hoping to divert Lung Ruoxue's attention. Lung Ruoxue waved the silver card in her hand and said to Su Hong, the outcome has been decided. I won. There's more than 100 million purple gold coins inside, Su Hong said furiously through gritted teeth. Yes, they'll return the change to you. Lung Ruoxue smiled nonchalantly. There's no need. I don't care about that bit of money, Su Hong said gloomily. He was just angry that this woman was so smug. Thank you, Lung Ruoxue said lightly and whispered a few words in Zheng Yin's ear. Then Zheng Yin left his seat. Shuer, where is Zheng Yin going? Freak asked curiously when he saw Zheng Yin leave. Where do you think? Lung Ruoxue said mysteriously. Could it be? Freak raised his eyebrows slightly in realization. Alas, he already guessed it. Buddha said, not allowed to say. Lung Ruoxue said like a charlatan. The matches on the arenas continued in full swing. Lass, it's my turn. Old Zao suddenly said when the matches for the day were almost 1/3 done. Good luck. I'll wait for your good start, Lung Ruoxue said calmly. No problem. Leave it to me, Old Zao said confidently. Then he strutted up the stage proudly. You're just a mystic. How dare you be so arrogant? Su Hong snorted coldly not far away, and his voice drifted into Lung Ruoxue's and the others' ears. Surnamed Su, shall we continue gambling? Lung Ruoxue smiled provocatively. Fine. Who's afraid of you? Su Hong, who couldn't stand being provoked, said hot-headedly. How much money do you have? Lung Ruoxue asked worriedly. Su Hong looked at Lung Ruoxue vigilantly and asked nervously, What do you want? Don't be scared. I don't want to rob you. I just want to bet a bit bigger. What do you think? Lung Ruoxue comforted with a smile. Su Hong looked at Zhou Kuan and then asked, How big do you want to bet? Tell me how much money you have before I decide on how much to bet. Lung Ruoxue had already set a trap and was waiting for her prey to take the initiative to jump in. I still have 1.2 billion purple gold coins on me, Su Hong said. Oh, we have a total of 8 people now. We will all go on stage to compete in a while. Each match will be 100 million. For every correct guess, the loser will have to pay the winner 100 million purple gold coins. If you guess all 8 matches correctly, I will pay you 1.2 billion purple gold coins, and vice versa. What do you think? Do you dare to bet? Lung Ruoxue asked calmly. What's there to be afraid of? Don't regret it if you lose, Su Hong said confidently and proudly. He had already received President Zhou's signal just now, so he was very confident that he would definitely win. Since I proposed this bet, I'll let you choose. But before you choose, I have to check your money because I'm afraid of you lying to me, Lung Ruoxue said very seriously with the word worry written on her face. Here, open your eyes wide and take a good look. I have a lot of money. Su Hong threw Lung Ruoxue another silver card without hesitation. After receiving the silver card, Lung Ruoxue did the same thing. She checked it and handed it to Lan Ming. Is President Lan your guarantor again? Su Hong asked gloomily. He couldn't understand why he couldn't get his money back after he took it out. He really couldn't accept it. Haha, you've become smarter. All right, you can choose now. Lung Ruoxue smiled happily. Hee, earning money is really too easy. Lan Ming looked at the silver card in his hand and looked at the foolish Su Hong, whom Lung Ruoxue had schemed against, with some pity. How dare you bet with this little fox? It would be strange if you didn't lose everything. Lung Ruoxue was already listed as an extreme danger in his heart now. Of course, I bet on you losing, Su Heng said loudly without hesitation. Since you're betting that we will lose, then I can only bet that we will win. Grandpa, you heard our bet, right? Lung Ruoxue turned to look at Lung Qingtian and the others. Yes, we will try our best. Lung Qingshan's mouth twitched helplessly. Granddaughter, this move of yours is really too ruthless. However, they were indeed short of money. All right. Lung Ruoxue was very satisfied with the reactions of her grandfather and the others. Wait, Su Heng took out 1.2 billion. What about you? What if you don't have money? Zhou Kuan couldn't help interjecting again. President Zhou, the parties involved have no objections. Why are you being nosy? Lung Ruoxue said coldly. Moreover, I have a guarantor. Do you think President Lan can't pay 1.2 billion purple gold coins? Lung Ruoxue continued to ask. You. Damn it. Do you know who you're talking to? Sun Meilin, who forgot how she had suffered earlier, couldn't help saying. Little Snowy, I want to sneeze again, Icy said lightly, scaring Sun Meilin so much that she quickly shrank into her seat, afraid that she would be sneezed on again. Haha, little Icy, bear with it. Lung Ruoxue caressed Icy's head and comforted him with a smile. While they were speaking, the battles on the stage had already begun. Old Zao was on Arena 2. Although his opponent was an elementary mystic, and Old Zao had just advanced to mystic not long ago, the opponent's strength was only slightly higher than his. On Arena 2, Old Zao's not very big eyes were looking at his opponent with a bright glow. Although his opponent was an elementary mystic, Old Zao had many means, so he wasn't afraid of this person. Admit defeat, the elementary mystic said as if he was bestowing a gift. I should be the one saying that, Old Zao said calmly. Chapter 379. The Bet 3. Don't you know that there's a difference between us? You are bound to lose, and your life might be in danger, the mystic reminded seemingly kindly. But in his heart, he hoped that the old man in front of him would admit defeat himself so that he wouldn't have to fight. Moreover, he could conserve his energy and focus on the next match. So what? Wasn't there a battle just now where the weak defeated the strong? Old Zao said nonchalantly. But that person can't participate in the later rounds at all. His injuries are so severe. So what if he won? The mystic continued persuading. It's better to win than to lose. Are you going to fight or not? Don't waste my time. Just admit defeat if you don't want to fight, Old Zao said impatiently. Damn, some of the fights were already over, but his opponent was still beating around the bush. Since you want to die so badly, they'll fulfill your wish. The mystic was angry. He even felt that his good intentions were treated as ill intent. It would have been better if you were this straightforward earlier. Then Old Zao immediately launched an attack directly. His fiery red mystic power pounced at his opponent like a fire dragon. The mystic hurriedly used an earth attribute mystic skill to block the fire dragon's attack. At the same time, he summoned his contract beast, planning to fight 2 against 1. His contract beast was a giant black snake of about 100 meters long, with a thick snake body that coiled around the arena. Its cold snake eyes were staring at Old Zao. TCH, you have a beast. Don't I have one? Old Zao was unwilling to be outdone and also summoned a beast. He glanced at his opponent's beast disdainfully. Just an ugly, lousy snake. How dare it show off? That's impossible. How can you have a dragon as a contract beast? The mystic asked in disbelief as he looked at the dragon flying in the air. This was a genuine dragon. Dragons were definitely at the top among beasts. Moreover, the one in front of him was actually a fire dragon, which had a higher status among dragons. This dragon's strength wasn't much higher than his ink snake, but the innate bloodline advantage of dragons was incomparable to that of ordinary beasts. Just as he thought this, the giant ink snake fell into a daze after seeing that its size was inferior to the dragon's enormous body. After returning to its senses, it dropped its head without any might or power, and its giant snake body was trembling. Although they were both level 3 divine beasts, the bloodline of dragons was much higher than its bloodline. This innate bloodline pressure was something it couldn't resist at all, unless its strength was much higher than this dragon's strength. Otherwise, it wasn't a match for this dragon at the same level. There are many impossible things in the world, Old Zeo said nonchalantly. Are we still going to continue fighting? Old Zeo asked immediately. No, I admit defeat, the mystic said. How could he fight now? Didn't he see that his ink snake didn't even dare to raise its head in front of the fire dragon? Good. Those who know the facts are smart. You have prospects, Old Zeo praised. But he was feeling smug. Hee, it was really too easy to win this match. Referee, I admit defeat, the mystic said to the referee. The referee nodded and announced loudly, Old Zeo, victory. Old Zeo won his first match, jumped off the stage happily, and jogged back to his team. Haha, lass, I won. Old Zeo smiled joyfully. Lung Ruoxue nodded slightly and then glanced at Su Hong before turning her gaze to the stage. It's only right to win. What's there to be so proud of? Old Man said coldly. He didn't like this old fellow being too proud. I'm talking a lass. Why are you interrupting? Old Zeo roared back in displeasure. Stop arguing. Don't let outsiders laugh at us. You only won one match, and we still have to win 7. It's too early to be happy now, Lin Liang said. What do you mean? Old Zeo's face was full of question marks as he looked at Lin Liang. Ruoxue made a bet with someone, so we have to win all of them, Lin Liang explained calmly with a very strange expression on his face because he was very sure that if Su Hong bet that they would win, the girl would definitely make them deliberately lose. Oh, then what's the bet? Old Zeo was very curious. If we win all 8 matches, that Su Hong will lose 1.2 billion purple gold coins to us, Lin Liang said. 1.2 billion? Haha. Old Zeo was stunned for a moment before laughing hysterically. Hee, this girl is really too evil. We're going to be rich this time. The unlucky Su Hong actually dared to bet with our girl. It would be strange if he doesn't go bankrupt this time. Not far away, Su Hong's face darkened as he mocked. You're really inexperienced. You only won 100 million. Do you have to smile so happily? You who have seen the world, don't cry later. Old Zeo reminded kindly. This young master can still afford to lose this bit of money, Su Hong said nonchalantly. He was a direct descendant of the Su family after all. Would he be lacking this bit of money? That's good. Old Zeo sat down in his seat and ignored Su Hong. The matches continued. An hour later. Okay, little Jing Jing, it's your turn. Come on. 1.2 billion. Old Zeo reminded with a beaming smile as he gestured for victory. Yes, it can't run away from us. Feng Jing's serious face was full of confidence. After nodding at Long Ruoxue and the others, Feng Jing strode forward calmly onto the arena. Feng Jing's opponent was also an elementary mystic. But this elementary mystic was very underhanded, because this elementary mystic attacked as soon as Feng Jing walked onto the arena, which was akin to a sneak attack. In fact, for true powerhouses, launching a sneak attack on their opponents was very shameful behavior. But as the saying went, all is fair in war and love. So despite this behavior not being worth advocating, it was allowed in the competition of the Mystic Association headquarters. Moreover, in the opinion of the Mystic Association, the existence of such behavior would also better increase the vigilance of mystics. Therefore, an increasing number of mystics like to play dirty in order to win the competition. Chapter 380. You're blocking the way. 1. Feng Jing was about to climb the last step onto the arena when he suddenly felt a piercing cold light coming at him. He dodged the attack and jumped onto the arena with a light spin. On the arena, Feng Jing's pitch-black eyes stared coldly at his opponent. The aura on his body was not at all inferior to that of the elementary mystic. Feng Jing originally didn't intend to kill anyone. Although he was addicted to martial arts, he wasn't a bloodthirsty person. Moreover, He had always felt that since it was a competition, he should stop when the outcome was determined. Why take someone's life? But the actions of this person in front of him had completely angered him, so he didn't intend to show mercy. After making his decision, Feng Jing immediately retaliated. In the audience, Long Ruoxue and the others stared intently at Feng Jing on the arena. This kid is quite smart. Old man nodded with satisfaction. Long Ruoxue looked at Lan Ming and asked lightly, "People can die in the competition, right?" Lan Ming braced himself and answered, yes." He silently mourned for the mystic for 3 seconds in his heart. Alas, what an unlucky fellow. Of all the people you could provoke, you just had to provoke this extremely protective girl. After receiving an affirmative answer, Long Ruoxue stopped talking and focused on the match. Feng Jing directly summoned his pet beast after a series of crazy explosions on the arena. "Wow, another dragon!" Someone in the audience shouted as they looked at the dragon that appeared on the arena again. "Damn, since when did dragons become cabbages?" Someone cursed jealously. At this moment, the audience was in a mess, and no one could calm down. Lan Ming was also a little dumbfounded as he looked at the giant beast in the sky above the arena for a long time. After returning to his senses, he couldn't help reaching out to wipe the cold sweat on his forehead. What the heck? Long Ruoxue and the others actually have 2 dragons. Dragons were very proud spirit beasts, and they had never bothered to contract with humans. Moreover, dragons were so powerful that no one dared to compel a contract with them at all. Alas, he really didn't know how they did it. "Little Snowy, you didn't tell me that you have 2 dragons as contract beasts." Lan Ming complained while looking at Long Ruoxue resentfully. "What's there to show off about?" Long Ruoxue asked nonchalantly. "I've never heard of any powerhouse who could contract with a dragon on the boundless heaven continent," Lan Ming said very seriously. Alas, can this girl's reaction be more normal? Why is she so calm? "That's because you're too inexperienced. Dragons are nothing special," Icy, who had been sleeping with his eyes closed, suddenly said. Lan Ming was very depressed. This puppy actually said that he was too inexperienced. Boo-hoo. How did I end up being despised by a puppy? Haha. Little Icy said it so well. Long Ruoxue couldn't help laughing when she saw Lan Ming deflated, and she caressed Icy's soft fur. At this moment, Feng Jing had already ended the battle. His opponent had been crushed into a meat patty by his enormous dragons, and couldn't be more dead. After the referee announced that Feng Jing had won, he hurriedly jumped off the arena and returned to Long Ruoxue and the others. "I've completed the mission." Feng Jing sat down. "That's 200 million already," Long Ruoxue reminded Su Hong. They only won because of the giant dragons. "That can't be considered true ability at all," Su Hong said angrily. In fact, he was really jealous of these 2 old men's good luck. How could these 2 people possess dragons? They were only mystics. Aren't pet beasts a part of your strength? If you have the ability, can't you also contract a dragon? Don't say the grapes are sour just because you can't eat them. Long Ruoxue mocked indifferently. "You. Don't be too smug too early. There are still 6 matches. The opponents behind you are the real tough ones. Those in front are weak," Su Hong retorted, unwilling to be outdone. He really hated these ugly monsters to death now, but he was very confident that they would definitely not win the next few matches. "Thank you for the reminder. This young lady is waiting to collect the money," Long Ruoxue said with a smile. "Little girl, I'm going on stage." Old man said. "Okay, be careful," Long Ruoxue reminded. They had to be vigilant now that they had the experience from Feng Jing. Old man stood up and slowly walked onto the arena. It only took Old Man around 10 minutes to defeat his opponent without even using his beast. Then after the referee announced the result, he returned to his seat impatiently. Then Lin Liang went on stage. He also won easily without using his beast. Immediately after, it was the Feng family's first elder's turn to go on stage. Although it took a little effort, the result was still satisfactory. After his dragon appeared, the audience in the venue was directly thrown into chaos. "Ruoxue, we have 500 million in our pockets now, right?" The Feng family's first elder asked directly after getting off the arena. "Yes, There are still 3 matches. If we can win all of them, we will have 1.2 billion, Lung Ruoshue said with a light smile. Hee, earning this money is really too easy. The opponents of the remaining 3 matches are very strong. You definitely won't be able to win, Su Hong said angrily. Damn it. Why are these people so lucky? They actually won every match. He was so angry. What if we win? Do you want to raise the stakes? Or does anyone dare to bet with me? Lung Ruoshue looked at Zhou Kuan and the others not far away provocatively. Raise the stakes? Su Hong looked at Lung Ruoshue as if she was a monster. He had gambled a few matches with her, but in the end, all the wealth he had accumulated over the years had entered her pocket. He didn't have any money left to gamble anymore. Moreover, he didn't dare to gamble with her anymore. His greatest wish now was that they could lose even one of the 3 remaining matches. At least, that would leave him with a few hundred million. Chapter 381. You're blocking the way, too. What? Does no one dare to bet with me? You lot are really timid. Lung Ruoshue continued provoking them after seeing them not react for a long time. They'll bet with you. How much? Sun Meilin shouted loudly, unable to take it anymore. She didn't want to be looked down upon by an ugly monster. Moreover, she didn't believe that these ugly monsters would win all of the next 3 matches. Of course, it's still 1.2 billion. Do you have it? Lung Ruoshue looked at Sun Meilin doubtfully. I'll bet double that. No. Make it 3 billion. Do you dare to bet? Sun Meilin roared furiously. Lung Ruoxue's skeptical gaze really made her uncomfortable all over. Since you're not afraid of losing, why wouldn't I dare to bet? Lung Ruoshue said calmly. She was gaining something without risking anything of her own. There was no reason for her not to want someone willing to give her money. Ugly monster, you are bound to lose, Sun Meilin said confidently as if she could already foresee the scene of her stepping on Lung Ruoshue and humiliating her in every possible way. Let's not talk about winning or losing first. Same rules. Bring the money here. I want to check it first, Lung Ruoshue said with a smile. You ugly monster. Don't tell me you think you'll renege on paying. Sun Meilin roared in disbelief. Damn it. No one had ever dared to treat her like this on the entire boundless heaven continent, except for this ugly monster. She really hated Lung Ruoshue to the core now. 3 billion is not a small sum. I won't bet with you if you can't take it out, Lung Ruoshue said coldly. Lass, don't make things difficult for her. Although she's the little princess of the Sun family, it seems like she really won't be able to take out 3 billion. Old Zhao said very understandingly, but he was already laughing in his heart. Haha, this money is really too good. The remaining 3 were the strongest among the group, so this money was simply like picking it up from the ground. Yes, Ruoshue, forget it. Let's not make things difficult for Miss Sun, Lin Liang said righteously as if he was really thinking for Sun Meilin. Swear, let's not bet anymore. The last 3 matches will be tough battles. We really don't have much confidence in winning, Lung Qingtian also advised, his resolute and handsome face carrying a hint of worry. After hearing what the 3 of them said, Sun Meilin angrily took out her silver card and handed it to Lung Ruoshue, who said, I can't take it out? Here. Lung Ruoshue took the silver card, checked the balance, and handed the card to Lan Ming. She couldn't help sighing in her head. Alas, these aristocratic families are really too rich. Giving billions of pocket money to their descendants casually is really too extravagant. Lan Ming took the silver card again. His heart was already a little numb because of the growing feeling in his heart that Lung Ruoshue and the others were really too abnormal. Boo-hoo. Why do I feel like a failure compared to them? President Zhou, aren't you going to bet? Lung Ruoshue turned her gaze to Zhou Kuan, whose face was black, and asked lightly. Moreover, she was a little surprised that Zhou Kuan didn't stop Sun Meilin this time. Wasn't she his cousin? I'm not interested. Zhou Kun's face darkened with displeasure. That's too bad. Lung Ruoxue's face was full of regret. Swear, I'm going on stage. Freak suddenly said. Yes, Freak. You have to work hard. 3 billion is waving at us, Long Ruashue said with a light smile. Don't worry. I won't disappoint you, Freak promised. He would find a way to pluck the moon for Schwer even if she wanted it, let alone a mere victory. After speaking, Freak strode onto the arena. Do you know who his opponent is? Sun Mailin asked gloatingly. I don't care who he is. Anyway, my man will never lose, Lung Ruashue said confidently. She knew Freak's strength very well. This guy didn't only know how to wheedle her. Anyone who dared to underestimate him would be in trouble. You're very confident. Unfortunately, his opponent is a lunatic who won't stop until he kills his opponent, Sun Mailin said without even caring if Lung Ruashue wanted to know. As for your opponent, haha, he's a famous genius on the boundless heaven continent. So you two are in the same boat on this point. The opponents are so strong. I want to see how you two can win. Sun Mailin was so smug in her heart. It was as if she had already seen the dawn of victory. Just as Sun Mailin said, Freak had indeed fallen into a fierce battle. On the arena, Freak looked at his opponent coldly. His opponent was a middle-aged man in his 40s, and he was an elementary mystic. But this person was obviously stronger than Lin Liang's and the others' opponents. He should be the strongest among the opponents they had encountered so far. Moreover, this person's attacks were very ruthless, and many of his attacks were trying to kill Freak. But Freak easily resolved them, and this completely angered this person. Damn it! Why do you keep hiding? The middle-aged man roared furiously. This man in front of him was as slippery as a fish. He had used many methods, but he actually couldn't do anything to this man. This made him a little flustered and exasperated. Why wouldn't I dodge? Do you think I'll let you beat me up? Freak said with a smile that wasn't a smile, and his black eyes emitted a terrifying glow. He acted relatively relaxed compared to his opponent, and he seemed to be playing with his opponent like a monkey. You're not allowed to dodge. Let's have an upright fight, the middle-aged man said, half ordering him. Upright fight? Then what were you doing before? Freak sneered and mocked. This man's methods were very vicious. He actually wanted to fight fair and square with him. How laughable. That's called preemptive strike, understand? The middle-aged man said nonchalantly. His fiery eyes stared at Freak like a venomous snake, wanting to kill him. Since you've said so, I'll fulfill your wish. Freak smiled evilly and finally decided to attack. Hehe, who asked him to receive his dearest wife's urging gaze. A stream of pitch-black mystic power coiled around the middle-aged man's body like a shadow, binding him tightly. The middle-aged man didn't even have the time to react. Chapter 382. You're blocking the way, 3. Damn it. What move is this? Let go of me quickly. The middle-aged man roared in anger. He tried his best to break free from the black mystic power binding him, but he couldn't break free at all. You've been jumping around for long enough. It's time to calm down, Freak said lightly. Then he used his favorite fist attack again. He clenched his fist tightly and hit the middle-aged man. Soon, the middle-aged man was beaten into a bloody person. Everyone in the audience was dumbfounded when they saw Freak's violent means. They were all mystics, so they knew very well that no mystics would give up on using mystic skills and use physical attacks in melee. This was absolutely not the thinking of a normal mystic. At this moment, Freak had been gloriously included in their abnormal range. Time passed slowly. Freak was also a little tired from fighting, so he sat down on the arena and said, I'm tired. I'll rest before I continue fighting. Not far away, the referee couldn't help rolling his eyes. He had been in the Mystic Association headquarters for many years, but he had never seen anyone resting during a match. Moreover, he had to continue beating his opponent up after resting. Alas, what's going on? Referee, he fainted. What should I do? Freak looked at the referee with an innocent look in his eyes. You won, the referee announced loudly as he looked at the bloodied and defenseless figure lying on the arena. He wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. Damn, this man is really too violent. Freak had already left a deep impression of being a violent man in his heart. There were two ways to determine the winner of a match. One was for the opponent to admit defeat voluntarily, and the other was for the opponent to not have any ability to fight back. Of course, there was a time limit for this, and it had to be more than 10 minutes. Simply put, the opponent had to be down for more than 10 minutes. Otherwise, as long as he could still stand, the end of the match couldn't be determined. The unlucky man was obviously defeated through the second method. Schwer, I won. Freak hugged Long Ruoxue happily after returning to his seat. Yes, you did well. Long Ruoxue praised generously. She glanced at Sun Meilin and smiled slightly. What's there to be so smug about? There are still 2 matches. Sun Meilin roared furiously. Long Ruoxue looked at Long Qingtian and the others beside her and asked lightly, Am I being smug? No. Everyone said in unison, infuriating Sun Meilin. You. I'll let you be smug for a while. The one who laughs last is the winner, Sun Meilin said stubbornly. Then she turned her head to the side and ignored Long Ruoxue and the others. Long Ruoxue and the others naturally ignored her. Why didn't you use mystic skills? Lan Ming asked curiously. Yi Qin's method shocked him. It was really too violent. I used them, didn't you see? Freak blinked, his expression very innocent. I mean later on. Why did you use your fists? Lan Ming rolled his eyes at Freak. He had a deep understanding of Long Ruoxue and the other's ability to pretend to be stupid. I want to preserve my strength. Aren't there still many rounds later? I don't want to expose myself too early, Freak said matter-of-factly. Oh. Lan Ming nodded slightly. Freak's words were quite reasonable. The competition continued. Some were happy, while others were sad. But it couldn't stop the competition from advancing. When the first round of the competition was about to end, it was finally Long Qingshan's turn to go on stage. Long Qingtian nodded at everyone and walked onto the arena with his head held high. His opponent was a young and beautiful woman. Moreover, her strength was on par with his, and she was also an elementary mystic. But this woman kept looking at him seductively as soon as he came up, making him very disgusted. On the arena, the young woman smiled seductively and said softly, Please show mercy. You talk too much. Let's begin. Stop wasting time, Long Qingtian said coldly. You really don't know how to be protective of the fairer sex, the young woman said resentfully. She had always been very confident in her appearance, but she didn't expect to kick an iron plate today, making her feel very embarrassed. You talk too much nonsense, Long Qingtian said impatiently and took the lead to attack. In the audience, Old Man was laughing so hard in his seat that he was about to cry. Haha, Brat Long actually encountered a honey trap. What a pity. That woman's efforts were in vain, Old Man said with a smile. How was Long Qingtian someone who knew how to be protective of the fairer sex? Using a honey trap on him was equivalent to playing the lute to a cow. Hee. Moreover, that fellow hated such scheming but self-righteous women the most. Little Lan, is this woman very strong? Long Ruoxue asked curiously while looking at Lan Ming. Lan Ming sighed softly and explained, Her name is Yin Shuer, and she is the 5th-ranked beauty on the boundless heaven continent. Her strength is on par with your grandfather's, but she has many means to deal with men. Many powerhouses have knelt under her skirt and obeyed her orders. Do you think she can seduce my grandfather with that bit of beauty? She's not even as good-looking as my maidservant. Long Ruoxue said disdainfully. It was said that beauty was a woman's greatest weapon, and she couldn't care less if it was used on others, but using it on her grandfather wasn't something she could tolerate. Little Snowy, Yin Shuer has many powerhouses by her side. Lan Ming couldn't help reminding her. What he implied was that she shouldn't provoke her. Unfortunately, how could Long Ruoxue do as he wished? Would someone who didn't even care about the little princess of the Sun family be afraid of Yin Shuer? If she doesn't provoke me, I naturally won't take the initiative to cause trouble, Long Ruoxue said lightly. While the two of them were talking, Long Qingtian had already defeated his opponent cleanly on the arena. It was the first time Yin Shuer had been carried off the stage. Chapter 383. You're blocking the way for... Wow. This person really doesn't know how to be protective of the fairer sex. He's actually willing to be ruthless to such a great beauty. That's right. But watching a beauty get beaten up is also quite enjoyable. After Long Qingtian won, the audience erupted in an uproar. Many people discussed it, and more people gloated. Long Qingtian walked down the arena calmly and was about to return to his seat when he was stopped by a tall, burly man as he passed by the audience aisle. "I want to challenge you," the burly man said angrily, his deep eyes full of killing intent. "Wow, Yin Shuer's lover is going to avenge her. A mystic monarch is actually challenging an elementary mystic. How embarrassing." The audience began to discuss again, and Long Qingtian learned the identity of the man in front of him from the gossip. This mystic monarch was that woman's lover, but they were on the arena just now, and it didn't matter if they were dead or alive. But now that he was off the arena, Long Qingtian really didn't have much patience to tangle with him. "Move aside. You're blocking the way," Long Qingtian said with cold eyes. So what if he was a mystic monarch? He didn't believe that a mystic monarch would dare to kill him in public. "I told you, I want to challenge you," the burly man repeated, unwilling to give up. In order to avenge his woman, he didn't even care about his identity and the rules of Carefree City. "I refuse," Long Qingtian said coolly and wanted to bypass the burly man. But the man blocked him like a small mountain. "Don't you dare to accept the challenge? I've never seen a mystic as cowardly as you," the burly man provoked with contempt. "I've also never seen a mystic as shameless as you. A mighty mystic monarch is actually challenging me, an elementary mystic, and even asked if I dared to accept the challenge. I really don't know if I'm an idiot or you're an idiot," Long Qingtian said coldly in a somewhat overbearing manner. He was a great general after all. As the saying went, you shouldn't lose your manners even if you lose. Although he was not as strong as this man, he absolutely couldn't lose in terms of imposing manner. Long Qingshan's words resonated with many people in the audience. On the boundless heaven continent, things like the strong bullying the weak were not uncommon, and many people didn't have Long Qingshan's imposing manner, boldness, and guts. So at this moment, they were rather impressed and respectful of Long Qingtian because he spoke their innermost thoughts. "Grandpa, what's the matter?" Long Ruoxue walked over with freak after sensing the strangeness. "It's okay. I just met someone blocking my way," Long Qingtian explained softly and signaled his granddaughter with his eyes to be at ease. Long Ruoxue looked at the unfamiliar burly man and said lightly, "Seems like he's not a good dog." "Ugly monster, who are you calling a dog?" The burly man was furious when he heard someone calling him a dog. "Isn't there a saying that good dogs don't block the way?" "Of course, it's about the person blocking the way," Long Ruoxue explained with a smile. "You're courting death." The burly man was angry and casually released a mystic skill, but the mystic skill failed to come out as he wanted. "What? Could it be that you have too little mystic power and can't even release your mystic skill? Alas, you have to cultivate properly. Don't challenge others all day for a woman. Be careful not to kick an iron plate and even lose your life," Long Ruoxue advised earnestly like an elder, her watery eyes still carrying an expectant gaze as if she had high hopes for him. The burly man was stunned by Long Ruoxue's lecture. Even the audience close to them was dumbfounded for a moment. They exclaimed in their heads, "Damn, this woman is really too awesome. She even dares to educate a mystic monarch." "Grandpa, let's go back to our seats," Long Ruoxue said. Before she left, she looked at the man who was still in a daze with slight disappointment. "Okay." Long Qingtian suppressed his smile and followed his granddaughter back to their seats. As for the burly man, when he returned to his senses, Long Ruoxue and the others were long out of his sight. An hour later, "It's my turn," Long Ruoxue said as she stood up from her seat. This was already the last 10 matches of the first round. She didn't expect her to appear so late. "Little Snowy, you have to be careful," Lan Ming said worriedly. "Don't worry. Little Snowy won't lose a strand of hair with me around," Icy promised. "I advise you to admit defeat directly on the arena. You're not Sunan's match at all." Sun Malin finally spoke again after a long silence. Moreover, she had an expression of consideration for Long Ruoxue. Thank you for your reminder. But retreating without fighting isn't my style, Long Ruoxue said lightly. Since Su Nan was a genius, she had to experience it even more. How could she come on the arena and admit defeat directly? With that, Long Ruoxue left her seat and jumped onto the arena proudly. On the arena, Long Ruoxue looked at her opponent indifferently. Su Nan was about 20 years old. He had a handsome appearance, a tall stature, a pair of dignified tiger eyes, and the aura of an aristocrat. It was said that he was the best among the younger generation of the Su family and one of the top 10 geniuses on the boundless heaven continent. His strength was at elementary mystic. As for the Su family, even though it was slightly inferior to the three great families, they could also be considered a top family on the boundless heaven continent. Su Nan was also the Su family's internally designated next successor. Su Nan was also looking at his opponent thoughtfully on the arena. The woman in front of him was the ugliest woman he had seen in his life. Chapter 384. Long Ruoxue vs. Su Nan, 1. Can we begin? Su Nan asked. Yes, Long Ruoxue replied lightly. Are you releasing your pet beast too? Su Nan continued asking, implying that he would release his beast if she did. No. I see. Watch the battle by the side first. Long Ruoxue said softly as she looked at the lazy Icy. All right then. Icy reluctantly jumped down from Long Ruoxue's shoulder and found a random corner to lie down on the arena. You can start first. Su Nan said graciously. Then I won't be polite. Take this. Then the aura on Long Ruoxue's body suddenly changed. She instantly used a mystic skill in her hand, and several streams of red and purple mystic power pounced at Su Nan like fire dragons. When Su Nan saw the raging fire dragons, he hurriedly used a water attribute mystic skill, the water curtain skill known for its defense. But his water curtain was unable to block the fire dragon's attack. Before long, his water curtain was evaporated by Long Ruoxue's fire dragons. Su Nan looked at everything in front of him in disbelief and was dumbfounded. But he quickly returned to normal and hurriedly added the earth attribute mystic skill, Iron Wall, in a vain attempt to block Long Ruoxue's fire dragons. Moreover, what made him depressed was that the temperature of Long Ruoxue's fire attribute mystic skill was so high. He really couldn't understand it. Long Ruoxue looked at the tall wall that suddenly appeared on the arena calmly and smiled slightly. Several tiny streams of green mystic power floated out along her fingertips and directly flew toward the wall. Green mystic power, I really didn't expect you to have the wood attribute, Su Nan said gloomily. Wood attribute mystic skills happened to be able to restrain his earth attribute mystic skill. But his water attribute mystic technique just now was unable to restrain Long Ruoxue's fire attribute 1. This fact made him very conflicted. You're lucky. This is the first time I'm using this 1,000 threads. Long Ruoxue replied with a light smile. I'm not fighting anymore. I admit defeat, Su Nan said in a self-aware manner. After several clashes, he knew that it would be very difficult for him to defeat Long Ruoxue. After all, they were of equal strength. Moreover, every mystic skill she used subdued him, but he couldn't do anything to her. So there was no point in continuing the fight. It was better to admit defeat early, preserve his mystic power, and prepare for the additional round. Long Ruoxue, victory, the referee immediately announced loudly after Su Nan admitted defeat. He didn't expect the match that he originally thought would be a fierce battle was the fastest to decide the winner. Thank you for letting me win, Long Ruoxue said politely. She picked up Icy and was about to walk down the arena when she heard an extremely angry voice coming from the audience. Damn it, Su Nan, how dare you go easy on her? Sun Malin roared furiously while wanting to skin Long Ruoxue alive. 3 billion. That was 3 billion. It was enough to buy a small city, but it was gone so easily. How could she be willing? Miss Sun, even if you are the little princess of the Sun family, You can't insult the dignity of a mystic, Sunan said with a dark face full of displeasure. Why else would you lose to a woman? Sun Mailin asked angrily. She was sure that Long Ruoxue must have used improper means. Otherwise, Sunan wouldn't have lost. Haven't you heard that there is always someone better? I'm not her match. Admitting defeat is the smartest choice, Sunan explained while suppressing his anger. He wouldn't have had to suffer so much to explain to her if he didn't have to worry about Sun Mailin's identity. After all, he had to think about his family. Ignore her. She's just a sore loser, Long Ruoxue said softly as she glanced indifferently at the furious Sun Mailin. A sore loser? Sunan's face was full of question marks. The loser seemed to be him, right? What did it have to do with Sun Mailin? Your admission of defeat allowed me to win 3 billion from her, Long Ruoxue said happily. Sunan was speechless. No wonder Sun Mailin was so angry. After all, whoever lost 3 billion would definitely not be in a good mood. But he couldn't be blamed for this. He was indeed not Long Ruoxue's match, and he couldn't fight to the death just because of a competition. After speaking, Long Ruoxue walked down the arena with light steps in an incomparably happy mood. After returning to where Long Qingtian and the others were, Long Ruoxue deliberately glanced at Sun Mailin and said lightly, Miss Sun, admit your loss. I hope you are a person who can afford to lose. You have to learn from Su Hong on this point. Look at how calm he is. In fact, poor Su Hong wasn't calm at all. He was simply dumbfounded. Of course I can afford to lose. It's only 3 billion. It's just a drop in the ocean for our Sun family, Sun Mailin said fiercely through gritted teeth as she glared with her beautiful eyes that were shooting flames. She had never hated someone so much in her life, and Long Ruoxue really made her hate her. She would definitely never let her go. I hope so. Little Lon Lon, can we go now? Long Ruoxue turned her gaze to Lan Ming. Okay, this is for you. Lan Ming nodded slightly and handed her 2 silver cards. Thank you for safekeeping them for me. Long Ruoxue took the silver cards and stored them directly in the bracelet. Then the group left the competition venue in a grandiose manner. Cousin, why didn't you help me just now? Sun Mailin roared furiously after watching Long Ruoxue and the others leave. There are so many people here. What can I do? Do you want people to say that we're bullying others? Zhou Kuan coaxed helplessly. In fact, he hated this cousin of his to the core, but he had to deal with her for the sake of the family. Cousin is right. This place is indeed inconvenient. After calming down, Sun Mailin also thought it through. Since it was inconvenient to attack in Carefree City, she could only teach that ugly monster a lesson on the stage. This was her original idea, but it was even more urgent now. Long Ruoxue, don't blame me for being ruthless. You asked for it. Who asked you to make me angry? Long Ruoxue couldn't help teasing. You, Lan Ming was about to say something when old Zhao interrupted him. Our opponents are very strong again, right? Old Zhao said in realization. Hee, it's good to be stronger. I can test the power of my new weapon. He had no use for it yesterday. Alas, Lan Ming sighed softly. Even though he had expected this reaction from them, he was still a little depressed. Moreover, their opponents today were not strong but just very difficult to deal with. Let nature take its course. Long Ruoxue only said 5 words before pulling Freak to where they were yesterday. Long Qingtian and the others naturally followed closely behind. Lan Ming was stunned for 2 seconds and hurriedly followed. You're in luck today. Your opponents aren't that strong. Sun Mailin's voice sounded from the seats nearby just as Long Ruoxue and the others sat down. Is that so? Then our luck is really good. Long Ruoxue smiled lightly and said with slight mockery. Would Lan Ming have that heavy expression if our opponents were really not powerful? Only a ghost would believe her. Of course you're lucky. Even I envy you. Sun Mailin seemed to be in a good mood. What a pity. Luck isn't something to be envious about. Long Ruoxue's tone was very calm. She turned her head to the other side and couldn't be bothered to talk with her anymore. Soon, the host of the competition went on stage. After some encouraging words, he announced the start of the day's competition. Today was the second day of the mystic competition. After yesterday, nearly 1,000 mystics entered the next round. After the competition officially began, the atmosphere in the venue rose rapidly, and it was actually even more enthusiastic than yesterday. There seemed to be more spectators today than yesterday. Long Ruoxue asked curiously while looking at the dense crowd in the audience. The competition venue was very spacious and had many seats, enough to accommodate tens of thousands of people. But because it was the first day of the competition yesterday, only about half of the audience seats were occupied. Almost 2/3 were occupied today, and every spectator that could enter the venue had to be a mystic. "Isn't this all because of you?" Lan Ming teased. "What does it have to do with us?" Long Ruoxue was puzzled, her face full of question marks. "A considerable number of mystics came today for your dragons. On the boundless heaven continent, almost no one can contract with dragons. So, do you think it has anything to do with you?" Lan Ming raised his straight eyebrows. "Seems like it's really because of us," Long Ruoxue said helplessly. No wonder she felt that those people were looking at them strangely. So it was for their dragons. "Yes. By the way, our matches today are closer to the front." Lan Ming looked at everyone. "That's great. We can go back early today," Old Zao said happily. The competition of the Mystic Association headquarters was really too boring. He wouldn't have participated if it wasn't for the money. "Then let's end this quickly today." Long Ruoxue nodded. "Little Snowy, your opponents today might not be as strong as yesterday's, but those few people are very difficult to deal with. Moreover, they don't have a good reputation among mystics, and they often use despicable means, so be careful." Lan Ming reminded worriedly, his two straight eyebrows almost furrowing together. Chapter 386, Long Ruoxue vs. Su Nan, 3, Editor. Atlas Studios. Everyone nodded tacitly and stopped talking. They each thought about their strategy for today. Soon, Long Ruoxue and the others went on stage one by one. After going on stage, Long Ruoxue, Freak, Long Qingtian, Lin Liang, and Old Man defeated their opponents very cleanly. Only Old Zao and the other two encountered some trouble. But they finally defeated their opponents and obtained hard-won victories with the help of their beasts. 5 days later, Long Ruoxue and the others all entered the top 100 of the competition. After the top 100 were decided, the competition would be on break for 3 days to give all the mystics time to adjust their states. At the residence of Long Ruoxue and the others, everyone was busy in the yard, preparing a sumptuous dinner, which was rare for the past few days. After everything was ready, everyone ate heartily. "Haha, Little Snowy, I haven't congratulated you all for entering the top 100 yet," Lan Ming said happily. "Hee, the competition these few days was really too enjoyable." Long Ruoxue and the others were in the limelight, but he knew that this wasn't what they wanted, so they would immediately return to their residence after their matches for the day. Moreover, they refused to meet anyone under the pretext that they wanted to conserve their strength. "It's only the top 100. What's there to congratulate?" Long Ruoxue glanced at Lan Ming nonchalantly. She was going to get first place, and she was only in the top 100 now. Boo-hoo. It looked like there were still several rounds. Moreover, it was said that the further the competition reached its end, the more complicated the steps of elimination were, and the slower the speed. Unless you could win every match, there would be no end to your competition. Unsatisfied girl, the top 100 is already very impressive. Lan Ming smiled helplessly. "My goal is first place," Long Ruoxue reminded. But she didn't want to become Wu Gong's disciple. Moreover, that spot probably wasn't prepared for her. "Little Snowy, you have now become the dark horses of the competition, and many forces are eyeing you now. Moreover, the method Sun Mailin will use will likely become more and more intense." Lan Ming sighed worriedly. During the competition these past few days, Sun Mailin had given them a lot of trouble. However, Long Ruoxue and the others had easily resolved them. He was worried for Long Ruoxue and the others every time he saw the vicious gaze in Sun Malin's eyes after her schemes failed. But these people didn't take it seriously at all. Alas, he was really a little helpless. Little Lon Lon, we'll deal with whatever comes our way. Worrying won't be able to solve any problems, so calm down, Long Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Chapter 387, Long Ruoxue vs. Su Nan, 4, Editor. Atlas Studios Grandpa, don't worry. We're safe for now, Long Ruoxue comforted. Little Tian, don't be afraid. I'll protect all of you, Icy said without looking up while eating the food in front of him. Why don't you settle down in Carefree City? No one will dare to do anything to you here, Lan Ming suggested. Even though many mystics wanted to settle down in Carefree City, the property prices here were quite high, so ordinary mystics could hardly afford to live here. But Long Ruoxue had won so much money and could definitely afford the houses here. No, I don't want to live here. Long Ruoxue declined Lan Ming's good intentions. She had discussed with her grandfather and the others some time ago that they planned to buy a relatively remote small city in the future as their residence. After all, they had a lot of people and many secrets that weren't good to reveal. But it's relatively safer here than outside, Lan Ming advised stubbornly. He was really worried about the safety of Long Ruoxue and the others. There will also be hidden dangers in safe places. Moreover, this place is under Wu Gong's jurisdiction. If we live here, we could die without knowing why. How sad would that be? Long Ruoxue didn't want to live in this seemingly safe place. They even had to be wary of some people now that they were staying in the headquarters. However, if they bought a house in Carefree City, those people might not dare to do anything openly, but that didn't mean they wouldn't dare to do anything. After all, the rules of Carefree City were dead, and the headquarters would probably turn a blind eye. They were merely weak mystics, so no one would uphold justice for them. After hearing what Long Ruoxue said, Lan Ming was speechless. Alas, this girl might be young, but she's much more experienced in thinking things through than I am. Boo-hoo. He suddenly felt that he was really too useless and couldn't help much. Alas, let's compete in peace first. We can discuss these things slowly, Lung Qingtian mediated. Some things really couldn't be rushed. Little Lon Lon, why is only Su Nan from the 10 great geniuses of the Boundless Heaven continent participating in the competition? Long Ruoxue asked curiously, changing the topic. Although some of the mystics participating in the competition were very strong, they were not among the 10 great geniuses. So she really wanted to know what kind of strength the famous 10 great geniuses had now. Every mystic is allowed to participate in 3 competitions held by the Mystic Association headquarters at most. Most of the top 10 geniuses have already competed 3 times, and some have already advanced to Mystic Monarch. Thus, only Su Nan participated. But the other 9 geniuses should be coming to watch the competition in a few days, Lan Ming explained. How are the other 9 geniuses compared to Su Nan? Long Ruoxue continued asking. Su Nan only ranks 8th among the 10 great geniuses. He's not very strong compared to the others. The most powerful among the 10 great geniuses should be Long Wudi. He ranks 1st among the 10 great geniuses and is also the leader of the younger generation of the Long family of the 3 great families, Lan Ming said lightly while staring at Long Ruoxue strangely. His name is Long Wudi, and yours is Long Ruoxue. Don't tell me you're also from the Long family? Lan Ming's handsome face was full of doubts. Does having the surname Long mean you have to be from the Long family? Long Ruoxue asked instead of answering. Of course not. I'm just a little curious, Lan Ming said shyly. Hee. Everyone had the gift of gossip. Long Ruoxue rolled her eyes at Lan Ming. Then seeing that everyone was almost done eating, she said, Everyone, rest early after dinner. Everyone nodded, cleaned up, and returned to their rooms. 3 days passed quickly. On the morning of the 4th day, Long Ruoxue, and the others arrived on time to prepare for their matches today. As usual, Long Ruoxue and the others went directly to their seats after entering the venue. Seeing them, the people from Sunzhou City sitting next to them revealed jealous and slightly hateful gazes. Long Ruoxue looked at the people from Sunzhou City with a smile that was not a smile. Alas, these people are really too childish. Everyone was obviously a mystic, but they were hostile to them for the sake of a small association competition. But since they liked to be used by others, they asked for it no matter the outcome, so she wouldn't pity them. Not long after Long Ruoxue and the others sat down, Lan Ming, who had gone to draw lots, returned. Of course, Zhou Kuan, who had a very gloomy expression, returned with him. Sunzhou City's Mystic Association had sent a total of 15 people to participate in the competition this time, but only 5 people entered the top 100 in the end. On the other hand, all of the participants from Winla City's Mystic Association, which Zhou Kuan had always been hostile to, entered the top 100, making him very uncomfortable. Moreover, he couldn't understand why they had all entered the top 100 even though he had clearly set up many obstacles. One had to know that the future of the mystics who could enter the top 100 would be very bright, and this would also affect his future as the president. Little Snowy, there are 10 groups in the first round today. If you can all win, there's no need to participate in the additional round, Lan Ming said happily. 10 mystics would be eliminated from today's competition. But he believed that it wouldn't be a problem for Long Ruoxue and the others to advance to the next round with their strength. Moreover, the 3 weakest people still had dragons in their hands. Their powerful beasts were enough to let them sweep the entire competition. We will try our best to end the battles quickly, Long Ruoxue said calmly. She had no intention of participating in the additional round anyway. It would be a waste of time. The strength of your opponents today is not much different from yours, Lan Ming continued while glancing at Zhou Kuan. Long Ruoxue and the others would be facing 3 mystics of Sunzhou City today. He didn't know if it was intentional or a coincidence. Okay. Long Ruoxue nodded slightly. She leaned in Freak's arms, closed her eyes, and pretended to sleep. In fact, she wasn't at all curious about who her opponents were. After all, she had basically understood the strength of those people after competing for a week, so she knew very well that no one among them was her match. But even though she couldn't rule out the possibility that some people had hidden their strength, she wasn't afraid. Chapter 388. The Adorable Beasts Revealing Their Might. 1. Editor. Atlas Studios. Little Snowy, you're in the second group, Lan Ming said. It had been a week since the competition, and he was already used to their calmness, so he didn't expect them to have much of a reaction. Little Lan, there are so many spectators today, Old Zao said in surprise as he looked at the dense crowd in the audience. From today onward, the competition will become more and more exciting, so there will naturally be more mystics coming to watch it. Moreover, many top forces have sent people to watch the competition. Do you see the new main stage? The representatives of the top forces will be sitting on it. The big shots of the Mystic Association will also be attending the finals, Lan Ming explained. More and more people would pay attention to the competition as it progressed, and Long Ruoxue and the others would also be targeted by more forces. But with Long Ruoxue and the others' temperament, he knew that they would definitely be annoyed. Oh, little Lan, when will it be my turn? Old Zao asked curiously. You're in the third group behind Little Snowy, Lan Ming said as he looked at the schedule in his hand. Oh, I'll sleep for a while then. Old Man Zao actually closed his eyes like Long Ruoxue after speaking. Lan Ming looked at everyone and shook his head helplessly with a sigh. Alas, these people were really too carefree and not suitable to join any top force. Time passed by slowly, and after the host's routine opening speech, the competition officially began. The focus of today's competition was on Long Ruoxue and the others because the audience was very curious whether they could still create the miracle of the previous few rounds and advance to the next round without any suspense. The 5 matches of the first group ended in dull silence. Little Snowy, it's your turn, Lan Ming reminded softly. Got it. Long Ruoxue opened her eyes, stood up, looked at her grandfather and the others, and walked directly to the arena. After standing on the arena, Long Ruoxue waited for a long time without seeing her opponent, which made her a little angry. She hated people who were late the most, even though she didn't know who this opponent was. Referee, why isn't my opponent here yet? Are we still competing? Long Ruoxue asked with some displeasure, her watery eyes hiding an angry killing intent. Wait a minute. Your opponent should be here soon. We'll naturally judge you as the winner if he doesn't appear within half an hour. Don't worry, the referee comforted fearfully. Damn, this woman's eyes are really too terrifying. Boo-hoo. Isn't that young lady harming me? Do you mean that I have to wait for another half an hour? Long Ruoxue said coldly with narrowed eyes. Damn it. It was obvious that Sun Mailin was behind this again. These are the rules of the competition. His appearance was incomparably handsome, his temperament was noble like a god, and his pitch-black starry eyes were bright and stunning. The woman is Long Ruoxue, and the man is Yichun. They are from Windless City's Mystic Association. I heard that they are an engaged couple. The person beside the man was none other than Su Nan. Su Nan looked at the stage and sighed. The Lan family and the Sun family had always been at odds, and as the young master of the Lan family, Lan Lai naturally had to spare no effort in causing trouble for the Sun family. What? Can't bear for your fiancé to be bullied? The blue-clothed man, Lan Lai, raised his eyebrows provocatively. My fiancé? Who? Lung Woody's handsome face was full of question marks. Why didn't he know that he had a fiancé? Did his grandfather secretly arrange one for him? Impossible. His grandfather knew his character and shouldn't do such a thing. Sun Mailin, of course. Lan Lai smiled mischievously, his handsome face full of teasing. Sun Mailin had always regarded herself as Long Woody's fiancé. Unfortunately, the man didn't know about this at all. Haha, it's really too funny. When did this happen? Why don't I know? Lung Woody was puzzled. When did Sun Mailin become his fiancé? It's been a long time. Everyone on the boundless heaven continent knows, except for you. Lan Lai said happily, his face about to bloom with laughter. Lung Woody was a little depressed. So everyone on the boundless heaven continent knew except for him, the main character. Did the Lung family also know? No one actually told him this news. Actually, you don't have to be too depressed. She can't rely on you. Lan Lai comforted very kindly. Lung Woody sighed helplessly and fell silent. His gaze was a little envious as he looked at Long Ruoxue and Yichun on the arena. Alas, when will I be as carefree and carefree as them? 10 minutes. 20 minutes passed. Lung Ruoxue's opponent was still not on the arena. Lung Ruoxue lay comfortably in Freak's arms as if she didn't have a care at all, ignoring everyone present. Referee, she really doesn't care about such an important match. You should punish her by getting her off the arena. Sun Mailin, who had waited for a long time without getting the effect she wanted, finally couldn't help jumping out and criticizing loudly. Punish her by getting off the stage? Cold sweat dripped down the referee's forehead. This little princess of the Sun family really wasn't afraid. There was no rule that prohibited sleeping on the arena in the rules of the competition. Moreover, if he really punished Long Ruoxue by getting her off the arena with such a reason in front of so many people, then he wouldn't have to stay in the Mystic Association anymore. Long Ruoxue, who had been pretending to sleep with her eyes closed, raised her eyelids slightly and said calmly, What? Miss Sun, are you losing your cool? Long Ruoxue, you really don't care about the competition. Sun Mailin roared again. She had already lost her mind from being angry with Long Ruoxue. Hee, of course, I don't care about the competition, Lung Ruoxue said softly. Referee, did you hear that? Hurry up and punish this ugly monster who looks down on the competition, Sun Mailin shouted, thinking that her scheme had succeeded. How is it enough to only care about such an important competition? I keep it in my heart. Long Ruoxue deliberately paused, smiled lightly, and continued, teasing Sun Mailin like a cat catching a mouse. You. Damn it. That's not what you said just now. Sun Mailin roared without caring about her image. At this moment, she looked no different from a shrew. Chapter 390. The Adorable Beasts Revealing Their Might. 3. Editor. Atlas Studios. Miss Sun, you were too impatient. I didn't finish speaking, Long Ruoxue said unhurriedly with a smile. Sun Mailin was about to go crazy from anger. She wanted to skin Long Ruoxue alive. Miss Sun, how many times have I reminded you not to shout in public? You have to pay attention to your temperament. Alas, you will scare away the man you like by acting like this, Long Ruoxue advised earnestly again. Haha, this Sun Mailin always came knocking on her door to be dealt a blow. She was a little embarrassed, but she was also quite bored. So why should she be polite since someone was willing to be abused? Sun Mailin was about to shout. But after Long Ruoxue's reminder, she remembered Long Wudi was sitting on the main stage and forced herself to bear with it. It's finally quiet. Long Ruoxue sighed. Swear, you don't have to care about those flies, Freak reminded her. I think so too. But some flies keep buzzing in my ears, making it impossible for me to sleep, Long Ruoxue complained. Leave chasing the flies away to me in the future, Freak volunteered. Okay. Referee, how many minutes until the time is up? Long Ruoxue answered, and then turned her gaze to the referee. There are still 3 minutes, the referee said with a slight tremble while grumbling in his heart. Boo-hoo. If these two want to talk love, can they do it in private? He was under a lot of pressure standing beside them. Long Ruoxue nodded and closed her eyes again. On the main stage. Haha, this woman is really too amazing. Lon Lai laughed happily. A mystic with no background actually dared to provoke the little princess of the Sun family. Her courage was commendable. He had to get to know such a brave woman. Otherwise, he would regret it. Hopefully, she's mentally prepared to receive the Sun family's revenge. A man in black on the main stage suddenly said coldly, Sun Ting, are you planning to take action against her? Lon Lai asked cautiously. He wouldn't let the Sun family destroy such a brave and interesting woman. I'm not that bored, but it's hard to say for Sun Mailin, the man in black named Sun Tung said coolly. If he really wanted to stand up for the Sun family, the first person he should deal with was Lon Lai. How could it be anyone else's turn? Sun Mailin won't amount to much, Lon Lai said disdainfully. Women who acted cockily just because they were pampered were forever only worthy of being pawns of the family, just like his cousin. She was beautiful, but she was a brainless fool. Don't underestimate a woman's ability. You will be doomed, Sun Tung reminded. Haha, that Bairu listened to Sun Mailin because of you, right? Lon Lai said in realization. Although the Lon family and the Sun family had always been at odds, he had a good relationship with Sun Tung. No one would dare to say this to Sun Tung except him. The women of the Bai family have nothing to do with me, Sun Tung said with some annoyance. Haha. Lon Lai laughed happily at Sun Tung's reaction. You should die laughing. Sun Tung looked at Lon Lai angrily. Haha. Isn't it time? Is that Bairu still not on the arena? Lon Lai looked at the time after laughing. She's already gone up, Lung Wudi reminded. Oh. Lon Lai's gaze turned to the arena. As expected, Bairu had already walked onto the arena. On the arena, Bairu stared at Long Ruoxue with disdain. Embracing in public, you really don't know any shame, Bairu said mockingly in disdain. She had promised Sun Mailin that she would humiliate Long Ruoxue, so she started finding trouble as soon as she got on the arena. Unfortunately, Long Ruoxue, Freak, and even the two beasts ignored her. Hey, slut, I'm talking to you? Don't pretend to be deaf and mute. Bairu roared angrily because she could already feel that everyone's eyes seemed to be on her now. Moreover, there were actually sympathetic gazes among them. Damn it, what's going on? Why are they all staring at me? Were they charmed by my beauty? She guessed narcissistically. However, no human or beast bothered with her. Referee, are we still going to compete? Bairu questioned the referee furiously. Let the match begin, the referee said with some displeasure, and he couldn't help cursing in his head. Fuck, what do these aristocratic young ladies think I am? Even a normal person will be angry. Moreover, am not their dog. Schwer, the match has begun. Freak whispered in Long Ruox's ear. Okay, darling, Dazzle. Rise, come out and play with her for a while. Long Ruoxue opened her eyes slightly and released Darling, Dazzle, and Rise at the same time. Then she ignored everything and closed her eyes again. Beloved master, leave this ugly woman to us. Darling rubbed against Long Ruox's body coquettishly. Master, I will definitely play with her well, Dazzle promised solemnly. Hee, I won't let this ugly woman go. Humph, she has to pay the price for bullying Master. Master, this woman stinks. It's killing me, Rise said exaggeratedly. You damn beasts, you're really tired of living, Bairu said through gritted teeth while glaring at the three small and cute beasts standing in front of her. She was about to attack, but she saw Long Ruoxue suddenly summoning her spirit beasts, and these spirit beasts actually teamed up to humiliate her. Humph, she had never been humiliated by beasts in her life, so she would definitely not let these damn beasts who dared to embarrass her go. You are the beast. Your entire family is beasts, Dazzle said with a displeased face. Hee, we are the cutest beasts of our cute master. A humanoid beast like you won't understand, Darling said with contempt. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.